Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 21st of November 2019. This is The Gap, episode 494. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is fixing his camera. What's going on, Joab?
Fucking about with everything. We waited until seconds before the podcast to change everything about how we do the podcast. So, as always, this is going to be a fucking banner episode. Another fantastic run. I'm sure everyone's going to love it, as it sounds wildly different from the last time, and nobody knows what to do with anything we're putting out.
You sound good, though.
After 494 episodes, it's nice to see we still haven't really gotten it right.
Yeah.
We're the best.
But that's why
we're the best.
You sound good.
God
still.
damn it.
It's good.
Yeah, well, I always sound good, motherfucker. God damn.
So apparently you were copping some crap about your Clackity-Clack, which is understandable.
Constantly, like the thing about cop and crap about my Clackity-Clacks, because because of the way all this shit is set up, right? It just general noise of my keyboard is picked up a lot louder because I have a very powerful microphone. I got this Blue Yeti hunk of shit. It weighs like 18 kilograms. Actually, the microphone's fine. It does weigh 18 kilograms. It's just impossible to find. You need like an excavator fucking arm to hold the fucking thing up above your desk, apparently.
Yep.
And Caterpillar weren't getting back to me with the fucking sponsorship, so I guess I'll have to fucking try something else. I've gone back to the mic stand for now. Anyway, the thing about getting shit about the Clackity-Clacks, because everyone's always like, "Oh, Joab, I can't hear anything PUBG over your Clackity-Clacks." Right? These motherfuckers can't hear anything because they're always yelling anyway, right? They're constantly just fucking, and I'm sitting here fucking like, oh, I think there's footsteps. Maybe there's footsteps in between the fucking yappity yaps, right? All I can hear is footsteps. I can't hear my Clackity-Clacks. All I can hear is the yappity yaps. And then suddenly we get fucking ambushed out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Oh, Joab, we would have been able to hear that if it wasn't for your fucking Clackity-Clacks." I'm like, motherfuckers, if you'd shut the fuck up for half a minute, maybe you'd be able to hear anything at all. But nah, constant chatter. And the worst thing about it is that I have, over the last fucking however many years, like ever since PUBG has been out and people have been complaining about my Clackity-Clacks, I have altered how my fucking microphone works at least a dozen times. Like, probably once a month, I will go Google how to fix my fucking why can I only hear Clackity-Clacks all the time, right? And I will ask people, I'll be like, "Oh, is my Clackity-Clacks still bad?" And they'll be like, "Yep." And I'll be like, "Cool. Well, like, I've done, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do at this point, right? Like, what, use a fucking headset use a mic headset? Headset mic. Like, get the fuck out of here."
I feel
I
was going to say, I feel like your microphone is actually part of your keyboard or something at this stage.
I do actually. Well, I yell at my keyboard, so when it doesn't do what I want it to. But I have a good keyboard at the moment, so I don't yell at it that much. Yeah, what was I going to say? I was going to say, like, basically, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? I can't deprive people of this voice, right? Like, they need to hear this voice in all its glory. So I have to have the best possible mic. I can't... It'd be like, I don't know, fucking making Pavarotti, right, sing underwater or something. That's what me with a headset mic is like, and I can't do it, right? It just can't be done. So you just have to fucking deal with the Clackity-Clacks. I'll deal with the yappity yaps, right? Do I complain about the yappity yaps every fucking month? No. I blow up about the yappity yaps maybe once every 6 months, okay? So if I'm being cool about the yappity yaps, you guys have to be cool about the fucking Clackity-Clacks. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, with that in mind, I will buy a new fucking mic. I'm going to fucking contact Caterpillar, right, and get them to make a fucking excavator arm that can possibly fucking... I might just park an excavator downstairs, because I'm on the second floor of the building I'm in, right? So if I just park an excavator downstairs and crash the bucket through the window that's in front of me, right? Then I could probably just fucking mount a mic on that, and it would actually be able to hold the fucking thing up.
Yeah.
The problem with my last arm is that it had like this one fucking, like, it's got all these fucking arms and it's got these bits and bobs and looks like super over engineered, and then the part that holds the mic up is this one nut, right? Like, no wonder it, like, yeah, it just, so I couldn't fucking have it here because it just fucking sink down all the time, so I had to have it like in a position where it was supported by the rest of the fucking arm, and it just didn't work. So anyway, that's what I got. The camera situation, I don't know what the fuck I'm ever gonna do about that. Like, I'm not a camera podcaster. I'm not a vodcaster. I'm a podcaster, baby. It's what I do. Camera. Look. Nobody even watches our YouTube anyway, and thank God, because I don't know what's going on. I look like a tiny person, right? Because I can't frame it fucking correctly.
You should sit on my side.
Oh, I can't even imagine, and I look sweaty as fuck.
There's even less of you.
Even good. That's good. That's what I hope it's just like fucking just cut off.
No, it's like go down a bit. It's probably like keep going. Yeah, it's about there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. This is obviously as podcasting material goes, us talking about shit we can see on a camera. Absolute gold. Non-stop radio gold. But we might move on. It's television time. Have you watched The Mandalorian, Luke?
Yes. I think.
Did we talk about it last week? Or was no? Did we?
Yeah, because I talked about how I would like it to be a little bit longer.
A little bit like, yeah, you were saying, yeah, because it's only like 30 minutes and it's like just a hard 30 minutes. That's like, I feel like you fucking incepted me. Because now I watched the second episode, I'm like, fuck, he's right. Like, this show is both too long and too short at exactly the same fucking time. I don't know what it is, right, with Jon Favreau and fucking montages, but if every fucking episode of this fucking TV show is going to have a montage, they can suck my ass. Like, first one, we got the fucking
Iron Man
armor. Yeah, fucking bang, bang. And now he's fucking fixing up his shit, bang. Like, get the fuck out of here. I do not need that many montages. Maybe we could just skip ahead, right? Maybe we could pack some fucking actual story into this shit, as opposed to... He's useless, right? The Mandalorian's kind of fucking useless, right? Like, he gets ambushed constantly. Gets his ship stolen. Like, he's kind of fucking shit at his job, right? I was kind of expecting this, like, mad, sick... I was expecting Star Wars John Wick, right? And we're getting, instead of Star Wars John Wick, we're getting Joab in a fucking Mandalorian armor suit, like, half-assing his way across the fucking space. Right? Like, just fucking... Oh, no, there's fucking dudes ambushing me again. I'll do my best. I would obviously die, right? I would die from the first ambush, but assuming I had lived a life where I learned to be some sort of bounty hunter, assuming I was as good at bounty hunting as I was at setting up my microphone, right? I would definitely... brute force my way through everything and somehow get to the other side, right? Like, I'm not good at podcasting. I'm just long lasting. And I feel like that's what the Mandalorian is at bounty hunting. He's not good at bounty hunting. He's just sort of like persistent. He's very consistent. He's there every week. You get him every week, and he's reliable. That's what you get out of Mandalorian for bounty hunting, but he's otherwise a bit shit at it, and that's me. So yeah, like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see me be a fucking bounty hunter, right? I don't want to listen to me be a No, don't worry about that. Ignore that bit. Everyone wants to listen to me be a podcaster. But I don't want to watch him be a fucking bounty hunter. I want to watch fucking John Wick. I want to fucking see some John Wick shit. I want to see him fucking draw. Like, they're doing, like, oh, it's Lone Wolf and Cub, or like fucking The Man with No Name, or it's a western, right? Like, no, there's no fucking question that it's a western, all right? Everyone gets that, right? It's just so overbearing with it. And so everything it's always like longer shots than it needs to be because it feels like it's trying to be Sergio Leone.
Yeah.
I was looking for fucking something. I was expecting something different. I don't know. Mandalorians. I'm not like some sort of extended universe nut job, which feels like the correct move.
Nate.
That is to get Nate. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like the correct move though, like the correct play, considering they ruled all of that fucking nonsense anyway. Like they just ruled it out. They were just like, no, none of that counts. There's no EU. The only things that exist are at this point 3 awful movies, 3 great movies, and 2 pretty good movies.
Yeah.
That's all that exists in this Star Wars. And some cartoons.
Yeah, it's cartoons. And some of the games. The games are canon now as well.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Knights of the Royal Republic and stuff wasn't.
The new games.
Oh, everything from now on.
This game is, that we'll talk about soon is definitely canon.
Right.
But just going back to that, like, that thing about wanting to see the John Wick of Star Wars, I feel like we've never actually got that except for maybe episode 1. Like we've always had these people that are Jedi that are learning how to be Jedi.
Yeah.
Or like a bunch of old dudes fighting that aren't in their prime anymore. Like we've never seen really a John Wick Jedi per se, other than I feel like the Darth Maul stuff is up there. But that's like more Sith, right?
Yeah. I would be happy with a fucking John Wick Sith, right? Like, that'd be fucking epic. Like, fucking, Kylo Ren's no John Wick Sith. He's as bumbling as the fucking rest of them. Yeah. He's as bad as any of them. You're like Darth Vader at the fucking end of Rogue One. Yeah. Like, that shit? Good lord.
But that's still old man. That's still awesome. Old man Darth Vader. Like, that's literally just before episode 4. Sorry.
4. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine, right? It doesn't matter, like, if he's old or whatever. Like, I just, like, someone at the fucking top of their game in the Star Wars universe, because so far, every single motherfucker is kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I guess Yoda, right? Yoda's spinning and shit.
Still
I try to...
He's still like 5,000 years old there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I guess we've got ObiWan coming at some stage. Maybe that will be...
If they do... See, I reckon they won't. I reckon they'll do him as kind of bumbling as well. And they shouldn't. They should do him as... That should be the John Wick shit. That should be, like, fucking... I want to see that, like... hyper-analytical... like, superhero shit, right? Like fucking... Batman, but a Jedi type shit, right? Or, yeah, for the Mandalorian, like, fucking... John Wick's a bounty hunter, right? Sort of assassin. Same deal in the Star Wars universe. Right? Like, why can't we see that shit? Like, yeah, just fucking something. Wouldn't you need to be a fucking ultra badass if you were going around in a world where, like, there's a fucking 1 in 1,000 chance that someone has fucking space magic? Right? Like, you need to be the fucking best if people are gonna describe you as the best. I would assume the best bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe, someone that people describe as the best bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe, would be a John Wick type, not some dude who keeps getting ambushed by fucking people like constantly.
By Jawas.
Well, yeah, some dude who gets fucking like totally owned by Jawas. In one episode, he gets fucked on by some dudes in cloaks. Are they, like, were they sand people? I don't know. Those dudes who ambush him in the tunnel, right? And then he gets he gets boned by Jawas, and then he was losing. He was gonna lose to that giant fucking rhinoceros. Like, he wasn't gonna win that. He shouldn't have won that anyway. That the size of that knife, unless its brain was fucking 90% of its fucking head space, right? There's no way that knife went deep enough. Yeah, right? Like, it probably never even got through its fucking skull. Yeah. It's a rhinoceros. Their skulls are built. Like, oh my god. Anyway.
Unless you could say you got an artery, but then he'd need to yank it down, and at that stage, blood everywhere.
Blood. There would have been blood. That is not Disney. Yeah. It had to be some sort of, like, kill shot, and he clearly had no idea what the fuck he was doing, and he was saved by the cutest thing to exist in 2019. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's throwing me nuts. I just want to be better, right? I just expected something different, I guess.
Yeah.
And instead what I get is, a Western. It feels very comic booky. I feel like I can really, like, I feel like it wasn't written as a script. It was storyboard. So I know Favreau has done that sort of shit before. And I can see taking that storyboard and turning it into a comic book. Right? A comic book with sweet fuck all speech bubbles.
Well, even like the notion of tying it back to video games of like, all right, we're going to have this set piece. How do we build a story around this?
Yeah.
Like sometimes they go into it being like, oh, we want to have this this giant thing on a boat. Like, how do we get to this boat? Like, what's the path from getting from here to the boat?
Yeah.
And then they'll figure out a story around that. That happens in film all the time, though. Like, them building these giant set pieces and then being like, all right, how do we get, like, the script not being done, but being like, how do we get from A to B?
Oh, it's super it's common in all storytelling, right? Like the murder mystery thing, right? Like, you start a murder mystery with your ending, and you construct everything to get there, that sort of thing. Okay? Yeah. Anyway,
so it's working in Australia now because it was, I guess, delayed, this Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, it got like similarly hammered. I don't know if it was hammered overseas for anyone else, but Australia, it was not working very well.
Right.
At launch, but it got there in the end, which is all that matters. Yeah, it's
there's a lot there. I think it's pretty good.
I don't think it's. I feel like it's a lot of like if you. I don't know. Don't you already own the Disney shit you like?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, it's a good launch platform. Like, there's a lot of good stuff there, but once they start adding all these extra TV shows they're working on, I think.
But they're not there yet.
No.
So at the moment, it's sort of just $9 a month.
Yeah.
For one show, I am kind of on.
Which is why they're not. They didn't do the binge thing because they want to stretch it out.
They desperately need to. Otherwise, until I can get some other shit on there, because otherwise everyone's gonna quit. They got to get some way to get people through that 14-day trial until they everyone's going to quit when they realize at the end of that 14-day trial they've spent an hour on the fucking system. I mean, people, it's probably unfair. People are going to watch a bunch of Disney shit, but it's only it's not stuff that they would have watched if it wasn't available in this format, right? Like, it's not like they were hanging out to watch fucking Aladdin as a cartoon again, right? Because if they were, there are a billion ways for you to watch that, right? Like,
sure. But also, a lot of that stuff is in 4K as well. It's been remastered. Like,
right.
I chucked on, like, I think The Lion King was in 4K. I didn't watch it, but I was just flicking through.
Right.
So there's definitely stuff in there. It's like all the new Star Wars stuff is in 4K.
Oh, so that's true.
Star Wars is in 4K. Dolby Vision, I think it is. Looks good. I fired that up.
Yeah. Like I said, but would you be like, you didn't watch The Lion King, right? Like, that's the thing. It's stuff that's nice to have, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Cool. TVs. Watchmen's still the best TV show. Rick and Morty's back and it's fucking amazing. Yep. That's about it. The last episode of Watchmen. Holy fuck. Amazing.
Right.
Spectacular.
I'm not
You
sure what
watch
I'm
it?
up to. I think I'm up to maybe 4. Yeah, I think I've just watched the 4th last
Okay.
night.
It's tricky to ask what's happened. What was the overall... Whose story was it?
It was the Clocktower, if that makes sense. The Clocktower? Am I thinking of a different film? It was that Doctor Sleep.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's the tower with the trillionaire that she's building. Yeah, that was the one I watched.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I thought that was pretty good. Good. Like, really good. Actually good. But yeah, the last episode, awesome shit.
Cool.
Should I close my fucking window? Can you hear those planes constantly?
I've turned down. It's fine. I can't hear you.
All right. And
Reading
fuck the
lips at the
listeners, I guess. It doesn't seem to be...
You usually get rid of most of that stuff, unless it gets really loud.
It doesn't seem to be, like, hammering. They were fucking... They must have broke curfew the other fucking night.
Yeah.
We were sleeping with our window open and fucking landing constantly while we're trying to sleep. Like at 11:30. Like it's just this low roar, and I don't understand how it cost me $45 in a fucking Uber to get to the airport, but I can still hear a fucking plane landing on top of my house. Why the fuck is that the case? Like, why the fuck is it not a lot cheaper for me to get to the airport if it's apparently close enough for them to land on top of me? That shit's ridiculous. Sydney's fucked, man. Sydney is fucked. My little sister got a new fucking place up in Brisbane. It's like fucking 4 bedrooms or something, and she's as far from the city as I am, as far from Brisbane, obviously, but she pays like a fucking like 3/4. She doesn't have planes going over a fucking place all the time. Anyway, that does bring up something else, because while I woke up that next morning at like 3 o'clock in the morning, thinking somebody was smoking underneath my window. Like, is that fucking smoke? Why can I smell smoke? And then I had the panic moment where you think everything's on fire, and like sort of fucking yeah, it was. But then it dawned on me that it was the bushfire smoke, and Sydney's like,
yeah, Sydney
is blanketed in smoke. And yeah, I just wanted to point out, if you're feeling charitable, listeners, check out. It's a pretty good initiative at the moment from a bunch of like gamers and like esports people and streamers and shit called Gamer Aid AUS, and they're just doing streams and getting donations to help people who have been affected by the bushfire shit. So check them out. Gamer Aid AUS on Twitter. Or gameraid.com.au, and yeah, they're donating, like they're collecting money for the salvos, which personally I'm not wild about. I'm not wild about the salvos, but like it's still a fantastic idea, and the Salvation Army is not taking the money for Salvation Army shit. They're taking it for the disaster relief fund. So in this case, it's a good cause and going in the right place as opposed to Salvation Army general shit. Because I don't know if you know this, but they're kind of dog shit. Salvation Army, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, that was all I was getting at there, really. Help people. The bushfire stuff is awful. And, yeah, I think, if we can do anything to help people who've been affected by it, we absolutely should. Yeah. Let's talk about some video games. Onto a lighter topic, video games. Can I talk about Rainbow Six Siege really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege. I'm doing a big story on IGN about Rainbow Six Siege in 2019, and so I've just been going through and getting footage of how it's been going down and like how it's been progressing throughout the year and the new operators, new maps, and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I've been doing is playing as Amaru, the chick with the zip line, and she is a fucking cack. She is amazing. She is the greatest fucking thing to use in casuals. She is never, ever, ever going to be used in fucking the pro league. I cannot see a single use for her in the pro league. But in casuals, people shit their pants, right? Because all you have to do, right, when you're a Maru, is you shoot out a window, right, and you wait 3 seconds, right, until they've reasonably looked away, right, and then you fucking zip line up. Because it makes noise, right? But it just sounds, from your perspective inside the room, right? As long as you don't use it to break the barricade, it just sort of sounds. It sort of just sounds like I don't know, like a repel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you probably won't look. You'll just think to yourself, okay, so they're repelling, they're coming up. Right, so they've taken out the window, they come in, they're going to try and pick that window. But you won't watch that window. So, like, you'll wait, because there's no way they're going to be there yet. They're so far away. So if you fucking zip your way up, right, they'll be looking somewhere else, and then you fucking... I go in with the machine gun and the shotgun secondary, but before I zip up, I always go on my shotgun initially. So I switch my secondary and I zip up, and then I can just fucking shotgun anyone in the fucking room, and they lose their shit. It is spectacular. And like, if you do it, I was doing it on Canal, and I was just zipping in, like, they were in, boat room, the basement. I'd zip in to the top level, like, from the fucking get-go, and then just sort of crawl down the fucking... And they would have no fucking clue I was in the fucking building. Like, absolutely no idea. Because there's no reason for someone to be there yet. Right? Like, it's just not in the realm of possibility that someone could be there. And they always lose their shit as well. They always jump on. They're like, what the fuck? Who the fuck plays Amaru? Why the fuck are you playing Amaru? And that's why. That is why I'm playing Amaru. Yeah. For that reaction in particular. Because I love it. It gets me going. It's hilarious. But yeah, overall, I mean, I hadn't really appreciated the extent of some of the changes that they've made to the maps. Like Cafe, I didn't think Cafe was that bad before, but it is so much better now. Like,
I guess Cafe's problem would have been the run-outs and things like that, or being able to shoot through windows, too many windows, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was like Canal, but like a little bit less, like same problem Canal had, but a little bit less. The Canal fucking update is amazing. What's the other one? Clubhouse. The Clubhouse was the first rework way back, but that's legitimately awesome. Like, it's a fantastic fucking change. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it plays really good. They've got it in a really good place. Which, yeah, I'm just in awe of their ability to listen to what people have been saying and to adjust and make what seem like the best decisions to me time and time again. I'm very excited to see what they do with Carly. I was saying last week, but yeah, all the pros were talking about how Carly's fucked, and I think she's going to go into the live version of the game as is, and I don't think she lasts a week. Right? How long did Lion last? I think she's Lion bad, because there's no worries. You're just fucking. Yeah, you just ADS, right? The only reason slow ADS time would be a problem is if you ever leave ADS. But if you just stay ADS the whole time, fucking no worries. Just fucking boom, cunts.
I mean, yeah. There's always the possibility to add something like a weapon sway. Like, maybe she holds her breath to ADS to steady the scope or some shit. I don't know, and then they could do something like that, so you can't ADS the entire time.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah, I still wonder. Yeah, that's probably your best bet. She's still super powerful. Like, I don't think super powerful is that bad. Like, she's still. I think if they were to do that and get rid of her, like, secondary, give her a shittier secondary, she might have some better utility. Like, she might be a little bit better. But yeah, she's got that SMG, which is like still rips. Yeah, she's tricky. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. I can't wait.
I mean, they could always drop her armor as well or something like that. What? She's a 2. She's a 2/2, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't make it 2-1, right? They've never done that, have they? It's always like 4. I think it's always 4 points in those 2 stats.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe 1,
so
3.
yeah. What, make her a 3-speed? Holy fuck! Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? Right? Like, lower her armor, make her a 3-speed so she can get in quick. No, because I think what they want is for people to have to move with the team. Like, they can't sit at the back and then fucking power in at the end. You know?
Yeah.
That's what they were talking about. Maybe they just have to do it anyway. I don't know. Anyway, Rainbow Six Siege, good stuff. Only thing I've noticed is that I keep getting like long matchmaking times, and then get dumped into games that are already in progress.
Yeah, it's weird.
I had like a 5-minute wait the other day, and then I got dumped into the second round of fucking game on Tower, and let me tell you, I don't want to play Tower from the start, right? So I was, this is pretty much all upside, but good lord, I'd love to play a full game after 5 minutes of waiting. I don't know. Am I that toxic? I don't think I'm that toxic, but maybe I've been like low priority, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think I'm that toxic. I don't think I'm toxic at all. I do use the C-bomb a lot in Rainbow Six Siege.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this
in life and in Rainbow Six Siege in particular, I will regularly call people cunts. Mostly it's geez, you sweaty cunts are taking casual pretty seriously.
Yeah, you over here using a Maru and they're like ashing it up.
Right? Like they're fucking 3 stacked around corners and flashing and like they're droning out, and I'm like over here fucking surprise, motherfuckers!
FBI.
Did you see my video on House? The one where I started capping from basically the start of the round?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I was so gutted that I didn't get the cap. Like, it didn't technically... I didn't cap it. I died just before the cap went in. I was gutted. But we still got the win. It was hilarious. Yeah. Anyway. Good times.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Six Siege. Good stuff. And they've got a free weekend this weekend, I think.
Okay.
Let me have a quick squiz. It's for some TV show, like some Netflix show.
All right.
I swear I got a fucking message about it. It's like heist, like tower heist or something. Some sort of heist. Fuck, I'm good at news. I don't know. Whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, free weekend. Some sort of special mission.
Yeah, Thursday, so it starts tomorrow.
Right.
By the time this is out, and it runs until next week for a couple of days.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
It's got a weird mask.
You get a weird mask. How good is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Battlefield 5.
Yep.
I want to talk about it quickly. I tried to play some... I don't know if you played much more, but I tried to play some Firestorm.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. That mode appears pretty dead.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a game at 6 p.m. in North America. So in... I guess there's multiple servers, but yeah, I tried solos for about I don't know, was it like 6 minutes, 5 minutes, and then it like basically just stops matchmaking.
Right. Yep.
I tried squads. That didn't work. I got one other person pop into my squad for a minute, and then they disappeared. Yeah, that game seems, or that mode seems pretty done. I think it's a big portion of that goes to the Battlefield team, who seem to have killed it themselves.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We talked about a while back how they really screwed up the matchmaking, but I had to look into it to see what was going on. They're not even updating that mode anymore.
Yeah.
They stopped updating it in around about September, it looks like. And there was an interview with Lars that I saw. And the interviewer asked him about Firestorm and like what was happening. And his basic response was like, "Oh yeah, we're committed to Firestorm," and then said, "But we've got our like entire team working on this new Chapter 5 update in the meantime." Which is the new update that just rolled out. And yeah, so they basically moved all their resources. It sounds like Criterion, they were the ones that put it out, I think, initially, right? And then the development must have went back to DICE.
Yeah.
And they just have not really done much with it at all. Which is a massive shame, because there's a lot of people that really like that mode. And I thought it was one of the best battle royales going.
Well, they killed it.
Yeah, they killed it. And so I couldn't even get a game at peak time. I don't know if peak time is 8 p.m. maybe, but I couldn't get a game at 6 p.m. In America. So that was pretty disappointing. And judging by a lot of the Reddit posts that have gone through, it seems like multiple people are having the same issue and just basically drilling down to like, oh yeah, DICE has killed it. They've said they're not working on it anymore. They've like focused all their resources to elsewhere. So that's it's a massive shame. Yeah, that needs to again go the free to play route or do something with it. Like
that would be a good way to reinvigorate interest in it.
Yeah, but like I don't see that happening anytime soon. If they're saying they don't have anyone working on it, and it's been nearly 2 or 3 months, that's not something we're not going to see until like next year at least. I feel like it sucks because I think it's very good, and they could like I don't know how they make money out of that. It's the case of doing the the skins and the season passes and whatnot to try and make some money, but it's a good game. Like it should be out there.
And why do all that work and then throw it away?
Yeah,
it's not like me scrapping a story draft, right? Like that's thousands of man hours pissed away.
Right,
that's crazy.
I think it's a thing of like them saying, and we'll get back to this later when we talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare Battle Royale, but of like that is a feature they have promised before launch, right? Firestorm was something they said we're making it, and so at that stage you kind of obliged to put that product in there somewhere. And maybe they're afraid of making it free to play because then people will be like, I want a refund. You said it was.
I bought Battlefield 5 for blah blah. Yeah.
Well, then you should be playing it. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I was super bummed because, like I said last week when you were talking about Battlefield 5, the new chapter update, I'd prefer to play probably Firestorm opposed to just normal Battlefield by myself, because at least then there is incentive to work as a team in Firestorm as opposed to just running around with the
passive incentive.
4 random people. So yeah, I was pretty bummed about that, but I don't know. I feel like someone needs to kick me up the ass and be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, anyway, true.
That sucks.
And this is that kick in the butt. Yeah, Wake up, DICE.
So I went and played some PUBG. New update came out yesterday. The maintenance was like 7 hours or something, and they rolled out is it 5.2, or am I just making numbers up at this stage?
5.2 is correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's the one.
I don't know if you've checked it out yet, but yeah, they've added in.
I have.
I guess spike strips is one thing that I saw, so that'll be like an item that you're able to put on the ground.
I haven't seen one yet, but
Sounds amazing.
sounds like a genius plan.
Yeah, I feel like you're probably better equipped to talk about this because I only played a couple rounds and didn't really see anything new. So you've seen more.
No, we got fucking 3 games in a row of Sandhawk. We got another one where I made everyone quit. I was just a big fucking baby about it, and I made them quit. I'm like, I'm not playing Sandhawk again. Because we had one game where we landed at docks, expecting it to be hot, and it was not. But the circle was over docks, so inexplicably we were able to fucking like just do whatever we wanted, right? We were able to sort of just casually move our way in, and like we fucking go over. We get into a bit of a shit fight with some dudes on the other side of docks, like on the other side, on the center side of that peninsula. There's not it's not a town, but it's a tiny little village on the water. Get into a bit of a shit fight with some dudes there, right? And we're getting sniped from across the fucking bay, right? Like, I don't know, 250, 300 meters. We're getting picked off, right? In the middle of a firefight. We're getting picked off. And, like, that's some of the dumbest fucking map design I've ever encountered in my entire life. Because they were able to continue to harass us, right? We won the firefight in the village, and then we moved north, ran into another team who were, for whatever reason, like the circle moved away from us, but this other team decided to come fucking get us, run out of the circle to come get us. Whatever, it's Sandhawk, you know, that's what happens. We were still being harassed from across this fucking bay from 300 meters away, right? Because they've got infinite fucking sight lines, because all that separates us is fucking water. So if you've got a good enough scope, if these dudes found 6x, right, we're free. We're not allowed to stop. The only way to fucking avoid being shot is to never fucking stop moving. The entire time you're also in a fucking protracted firefight with running into a fucking enemy. It's idiotic. Why the fuck is there not, like, just put a fucking sandbar with some trees in it. Give some sort of fucking visual breakup so that you do not have literally hundreds of meters of empty fucking sight lines for people to snipe in. That is fucking dumb, because it's not how Sandhawk is supposed to play, right? That's not how the fucking map is constructed, right? They're talking about making Vikendi a fucking sniper's paradise, right? Fine, right? Because it's twice the size of Sandhawk, right? Sandhawk is fucking no bigger than my fucking shitty Sydney apartment, and yet we've got fucking cunts rocking sniper rifles all over the fucking place. It's dumb. Like, and they're finding success at over fucking 200 meters. It shouldn't happen, right? Why is most of that fucking map hills, like a bunch of fucking hills with trees everywhere? And that map, but that portion of the fucking map is just fucking infinite fucking sightlines forever. Fuck that shit. Fuck Sandhawk. Then we landed, right? Direct, like literally jumped immediately out of the plane. And I'm gonna fucking bring up a map of Sam.
You're gonna ask me names.
I know, right?
Camp Charlie.
Campo Militaro. San Mi, right? We land at San Mi, which is left of Camp Charlie. So if the plane would go south to north, straight up the fucking middle, right? Your choices would be for a hot drop, right? To jump immediately out of the plane, you would jump and you'd either tank to Camp Charlie, you'd go to docks, or you'd go to San Mi. We went to San Mi and nobody landed there with us, right? That was a hot drop, right? My pitch for San Mi was, well, we'll land at San Mi and we'll get the shit out of the fucking way quick, right? Like, at least we'll have some fun in a fucking firefight and we'll move on. Didn't see shit. The map ended on Camp Alpha, right? And we did not see a single fucking... We saw one person at Narcam, right? We saw them at Narcam. They parked their boat and then exploded their boat. they were shooting their boat to explode it for reasons I don't
They don't want
understand.
anyone else to have the boat.
Yeah, I guess. But we shot them, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was super fucking easy because they were just fucking about shooting a boat. And then, yeah, we careened up. We had to go across the river to the island with Camp Alpha on it. And then we ran into a team and had a, like, shitty fucking firefight because we were coming up off the fucking beach under fire. Right, and that was it. That was our experience. We didn't see any fucking motherfucker for 15. Like, we saw one idiot who doesn't count. We landed hot, so we looted, and then died. Essentially, it's fucking shit-tastic, right? It's a shit fucking map, and every time I fucking play it, my desire to play PUBG wilts a little bit more. I fucking hate it. So yeah. The next time it came up, I'm like, no, I'm not playing it. I'm quitting, and I quit before I even waited for any input from the other people playing, which is definitely a shitty move. But I was shucking a tansy. Yeah, and then so we didn't even see New Vikendi. I got no idea what changes are made. We played like 6 games. We didn't see New Vikendi at all. I got a Chicky D on Vikendi. It was pretty good. But before the fucking changes. I don't understand how they're making it into more like, until I see it, it's a bit hard to say necessarily, but like in the patch notes, they're like, oh, we've heard you and you want better sightlines on Vikendi. Vikendi's the snow map. If you don't know PUBG very well, it is already a sniper's paradise. We were on fucking Vikendi on top of some fucking mountain, right? And we could see in every single fucking direction for about 600 fucking kilometers. Like, we could just fucking, I can see cunts on Miramar from here. Like, it's this shit's easy. Like, I'm just gonna aim up in just for the curvature of the earth and boom some motherfuckers in Fortnite. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's already a sniper's paradise. So I don't know how the fuck they're making it into more of a sniper's paradise. But that's what their plan is. They're adding vehicles, which is good. In the Chicky D game, I think we spent a good 2.5 minutes in the blue zone because we couldn't find a fucking car. So we're just running. We landed in Milner and had to run all the way over to the northeast side of the fucking map. Yeah, we just had to like hoof it until we found a car, and then we found like 3 more cars all at once, which is pretty classic PUBG. But yeah, I don't know. Just it's obviously I'm still playing the fuck out of it, and I still really enjoy it. But yeah, I cannot bear to play Sandhawk anymore. I go through like phases of being okay with it, but most of the time, yeah, I just hate Sandhawk. I just fucking hate Sandhawk. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah.
So I jumped in, and for whatever reason, one of the updates must have changed a bunch of my buttons, because half of them were okay and the other half were like not working, or they'd reverted back to a different button. So I'm like, I can't crouch anymore. What's my crouch button? It was C, obviously. But yeah, I couldn't crouch. My ADS wasn't working. That had gone back to toggle instead of hold, because I use hold to ADS. I don't know if you've changed that.
No.
You ADS, you just used to just click once, but eventually they added in a I
just click once.
Hold it. Yeah,
no, I don't know.
Proper first-person shooters.
Get the fuck out of here. Toggle. I toggle everything. I'm only toggles. I'm no holds.
I think I toggle crouch, and that's probably about it. And prone, but hold to ADS. So all that stuff.
Imagine hold to prone. How annoying would that be? Sorry, go on.
That'd be frustrating. So I changed a bunch of my settings. All my healing had been changed. So I had to rebind all that stuff. It was just a mess. Like, some things were okay. Like my weird buttons that I sometimes like, I'll put mouse look on mouse button 5 or something like that. Like, that was still okay. It was just strange. So yeah, I played a couple of games, but yeah, didn't really play too much. So Yeah, so they've added in spike traps. They've got this PUBG Labs thing, which is launching, I think, next week. They're putting in like skill-based rating. Well, it's not skill-based matchmaking. It's more of like a screen that tells you what your ranking depending on where you position in the game. So I don't know what they're going to be doing with that exactly, but
Yeah.
I guess they're putting that in there at some stage. Like you said, there was that Vikendi update, which I think the main thing that I've taken away from that, from the picture that I've seen, is the middle island now has more ways to get to it. There was
Yeah, they froze all the water, so you can actually just walk over it now.
Yeah, that's just smart.
Less shit.
Smart idea, because water is dumb at that location. They put in some changes to the blue zone on Vikendi as well, and then obviously one of the other things that I saw in there was like a waypoint system for being able to mark things for your team, which is pretty interesting.
Who cares?
Well, I mean, we used to be like, we're going this way, and you'd have to look at the map and you'd see like someone just clicking markers on like a path line. So this at least, you can,
I guess that's true.
You could be like, we'll go between here and these, these bits here. So I think it works out well. There's a less less ways for people to get confused about where you should be going. So that's cool. What else was there? And just some like general gameplay changes. Gameplay updates and whatnot. I don't know what this commander feature is. I kind of looked into that a little bit.
No idea.
It seems to be some sort of like a director in the actual, like the custom mode is able to place where red zones are and where like care packages drop, and things like that. So don't know, sounds interesting. But I don't know really what that is gonna bring to the table.
No idea.
Yeah, but otherwise, pretty basic stuff, sounds like.
Yep.
So yeah, played a bit of that one, and the next one, what else can we talk about? Red Dead Redemption 2. You played any more of that?
No, not yet. I haven't had time, but I'm going to get into it this weekend again. Nate was talking about there's some way to convert your PlayStation 4 save across to the PC.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in two minds as to whether or not I do that or I just use the custom save I've currently got. Because I kind of want to go through all the story beats again and get a good idea of it. So yeah, I don't know. I could jump straight to the end and have my character, my finished save game, but I don't know. The parts I didn't want to play again, or the part I didn't want to play again, was specifically the start. So. A custom save game, just skipping me ahead a little bit, is good enough for that. So yeah, I'll just do that, I think. Yeah. You played it?
I played a couple missions. There's stuff in there that I don't know if I missed the first time or if it's brand new. I haven't really looked into it.
Right.
But there's definitely people I've come across where I'm like, I don't remember this at all. I don't remember who you are. And it's not like a main mission. It's just like one of those I don't know if they're strangers, but more like just random encounters out in the world. Like you'll just come across some. Oh no, I think one of them was a stranger. Just like, here's a question mark. You go over there and I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen you before. Who are you?
Right.
I think they had me collecting. Might have been herbs or something, like a mission, something like that. But yeah, I'm seeing new things on there, and I'll tell you what, it is harder to aim in that game with a mouse and keyboard, because obviously, like,
it's got such aggressive aim assist.
Oh yeah, on console, you kind of just like flick, and on top of that, you've got your your being able to slow down time and like paint people as well. You can obviously do that on the PC and paint people, but like being out in the wilderness and trying to hunt for animals like a rabbit or something, holy crap.
That shit was pretty fucking iffy half the time with the crazy aim assist, like the smaller animals were so hard to hit sometimes with even with aim assist, because they just moved in ways that the game, despite it being itself, despite predicting itself, wouldn't predict. Yeah, which was pretty good.
Yeah, and the other one was the guy that you come across who wants to bet you that you can, whether or not you can beat him at like a duel of like shooting things in the air. Like he thinks he's like a better gunslinger.
Oh yeah.
And so like he lines up a bunch of like balls you need to shoot, and then he's like, but I bet you I can beat you in round 2, and then like round 2 is like birds in the air that like fly over, and I'm like, this is a lot harder than shooting bottles.
Fuck. Yep.
Yeah, I did win that one, but I was like, that was a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, the like hunting stuff has been a bit more challenging, especially when you're like on a horse or something like that, and you're on a horseback, and the horse is moving, and you've got, I don't know, it's pretty hard to do that. Maybe hunting with a controller would be way easier. But I'm digging it. It's good. There's been a couple of patches since then. There's a new patch that rolled out, I think today or overnight. I saw in some of the news, like a 1.2 gig patch. NVIDIA rolled out a patch as well, I think today, addressing some issues. So hopefully some better frame rates in that game. I went through and did a how-to guide on some of those settings to sort of make them the performance, like what's the best performance over graphics. And I think it was an Australian that I was watching. Is it Unboxed? YouTube? Man, I'm not going to remember this, am I?
I don't know.
No, it's not going to come up. Anyway, there was a guy that did like a 2-part video series that had like a how-to guide on what settings is kind of good, how much performance gains you'll get depending on which settings you change. Went right into every single setting and being like, this one gives you, 2% less on ultra, or if you change it to high, you're not really getting any change, so leave it on this one. And like, really good in-depth guide on what settings you should use, and I went through and changed all of mine to basically what he had. And it was really good. So it's made a good impact. I wish I could find it. I guess I could go to my YouTube history, right? That'd show up somewhere.
Yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of Red Dead. Nah, it's not here yet. Oh man, that sucks. I got it. It's called Hardware Unboxed. It's a YouTube channel. He's done a Red Dead Redemption 2 optimization guide. So if you play and you want to check that out, go do that. It's it seems like there's a lot of good stuff there. So
nice.
It's cool.
That was the same guy who already delivered me a parcel.
All right.
Just more parcels, I guess. Why didn't he deliver it all in one go? I'll never know. He had such a sheepish look on his face, though. He knew he'd fucked up. Okay, cool. What's next? What else have we got? Jackbox Party Pack 6.
Yep.
Played this on the weekends. It was my my birthday last week. And,
oh yes, happy birthday.
Oh yeah, a little bit late. To do a podcast that went out on my birthday, but don't worry about it, Luke. It's fine. I won't. I'm not looking into it too much. So anyway, had some drinks, had some dinner, went back and played this at my place because we were just, having dinner close to my place, and I'm just trying to find the list of games that's in this one, but it's very hard to do. I don't know why. I don't know why it's always so hard. Here it is. And it's the 6th Jackbox Party Pack. I've bought all of them except for number 4, which I think I felt wasn't the strongest one. But I was definitely going to get this one because it's got my favorite of the games, which is Trivia Murder Party.
Oh yeah.
And it's got Trivia Murder Party 2. It's got all new punishments and stuff. I feel it's got trickier questions, which is cool. And some more involved like mini games when you fail. So it's easier for everyone to die and stuff, which is good. It's got Dictionarium, where you got to like make up a word and then make up a definition for that word. And it's sort of like just a shit talking game. It reminds me of there was another game in one of the others. It's like it's one of those situations where whenever like everyone's just making up anything at all, it's so loose, right? It's so loose in what it needs from the players that it winds up being a lot of fun, like really interesting fun. So yeah, it's basically just dirty shit, like weird sex moves and stuff, over elaborate sex moves and whatnot, being made up. The game Push the Button, which reminds me of there was a game where you had to lie, and this one is another one of those that one player is an alien, and everyone gets sent a question on their phone, and you've got like they've got to answer it. Like everyone's got to answer it, but the alien gets sent a different question, and that one was a bit sloppy. I think I was the alien, and I got like everyone got like, what would you wear to a party or something like that, and I got what's your favorite thing about going to a museum? And there's no way to answer that. Like I wrote dinosaurs because of course it is. And yeah, the others were like party hats or nice outfit or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, dinosaurs. And like, well, Joe's the fucking alien, obvious.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously. And yeah, so I just, that one didn't work out too well. It was entertaining until that moment. But yeah, just sort of, I don't know,
just breaks
something about the algorithm. Yeah, it didn't really work. Joke Boat was sort of remind me a lot of the rapping one.
Rap Battle, yeah.
Rap Battle, which is probably my favorite non-Trivia Murder Party Jackbox game. Joke Boat is pretty similar and like fills a pretty similar niche. It's about like creating, like you get given a topic and you got to make like a one-liner joke out of that topic, which is highly entertaining. So basically everyone just sort of writes down, it's got like the same sort of thing as the, like it's got multiple phases, and you start out and you write down a bunch of topics, and then you get given a topic and you've got to make the joke out of it. And yeah, it just winds up being fairly funny, which is good. I think it will read the jokes out for you, but for some reason the sound stopped working in the game for that one. I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know if it was just that game or something to do with Steam Link or what, but yeah, it just sort of goofed up on that one, which was a bit annoying. And then Role Models, sadly not related to the movie at all. Must not have been great because I don't really remember it at all. Yeah, I don't know. We definitely played it. We were drinking, so memory on all of this isn't fucking 100%. But yeah, I don't really remember that one too well. I'm just having a quick squiz, see if it has any fucking idea. It'll give me some idea of what. No idea. Anyway, yeah. Overall, all I need from a good party pack, a good Jackbox party pack. Ideally, at the end of the day, I think, the best result would always be being like able to, I guess, I don't know, buy only the games I like individually. But yeah, generally what I need from a party pack is 2 games that I really like, and this one absolutely has 2 games that I very much like, in Joke Boat and True Murder Party. Yeah, and Dictionarium, good fun. Push the Button, if it was a little bit tighter, would be a good one as well. And I still don't remember role models at all. So yeah. So yeah, overall, pretty good. Like a pretty good fucking run for a Jackbox Party Pack. Yeah, I don't know. That's about it. It's no yeah, rap battle's still better than Joke Boat, but
that's in 5, isn't it?
yeah, that's in 5.
Yeah, I played 5 over the weekend.
Nice.
I don't remember.
Sweet.
We also had a drinking party.
Yeah, that is a common way to engage with Jackbox Party Pack. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, good times.
Yeah. What else have we got here?
Age of Empires 2. You put Age of Empires. Were you playing the original? Or
no, I just wrote it down because I knew you were playing Age of Empires.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition out this week. I think we've talked about it before. Have we talked about it like when it hit beta, or were we not allowed to talk about it? I think we were under embargo, weren't we? One way or the other, it's fucking brilliant. Like, it is literally as I remember it, because in my head I see everything through fucking rose-tinted glasses, rose-colored glasses. So in my head, Age of Empires 2 is like has always looked as good as it does. You see, but if you were to go to the fucking HD Age of Empires 2, or worse still, the original, like holy shit. The difference between these games is staggering. Definitive Edition looks gorgeous. They've done some amazing work to make it look as good as possible. Better still, they've way up the player counts. They've added some really good quality of life shit like auto resetting your farm, which is the single greatest achievement in an Age of Empires game of all time, because my micro is for shit as it is, but having to tell motherfuckers to reseed their farm constantly definitely tanked my food economy repeatedly while playing AoE 2. Still, auto reseed your farm tanks your wood economy pretty hard, but it's better to have bad wood economy than bad food economy in my experience. You can always just fucking, I think if I recall correctly, the exchange for wood is better than the exchange for food. So you're better off making way too much food than you are better at making way too much wood. And yeah, that's otherwise it's Age of Empires 2 is literally Age of Empires 2 but better, but with improvements to make it fit into 2019, which ultimately makes it a really fucking great game, like awesome game. I'd love to see how it plays across the Pacific Ocean between the two of us. If we could rope you into a game with a couple of other people, see how that goes. That'd be really interesting. Probably not well, but
only because I'm not a big Age of Empires person.
Oh well, no, like you don't have to be good at it. Like I just love to see how it goes networking wise. We can play against, we can comp stomp and stuff. Like we'd all play on the same team, play against some AIs and stuff. That's Nate's preferred way to play anyway. I think that'd be really interesting. But otherwise, just plays really well. I played one game against Squirrel. Otherwise, I've been playing against AI. Played against Squirrel and only had half an hour, which was pretty optimistic. I set the settings. I gave us high resources to start with and set the game speed to fast and all that kind of stuff. But half an hour is still not nearly enough time. So I wound up just sending all my shit. at him at once, and then when it died, and it definitely died horribly, I surrendered. He was on the cusp of doing some heinous shit to me. I'd built all my fucking town, all my stuff on a coastline. Unaware, I thought the coast didn't go all the way around the map. I was incorrect, and he was about to send an entire fucking armada my way to just wipe out all my shit. Yeah, I probably could have fought it out, and yeah, kept that shit going for a while. I had more stuff back at my base. I didn't send my entire force over because I was constantly making new units, obviously. But yeah, I did send a pretty sizable force. I would have had enough to defend myself, but would have been pretty devastating to my entire economy. My farms were quite close to the water. Yeah, anyway, good times. Definitely keen to play it again. And yeah, definitely keen to comp stomp, see how that goes. And yeah, that's about it. It's good. It's awesome. If you've got Xbox Game Pass and you can work out how to fucking get the free games off the fucking thing, it's free. If you've got Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, I mean. And it's definitely worth free. I would say it's worth $20 or whatever they're selling it for, because I think it's fucking brilliant. But only if you enjoy Age of Empires, I guess. Age of Empires 4, that announcement, fucking hell, that looked awesome. $40. Oh, hang on, that's with the it's $22. There we go. Yeah, Definitive Edition, Age of Empires 2, $22 on Steam. Or yeah, if you got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, free. Yeah, that's it.
Cool, nice.
Yep.
All right, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
I guess last week's big release. One of the last big ones of the year, I feel like. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it might be the last big one of the year. I mean, it came out the same day as Pokemon. So technically, yes, the last big one of the year, right?
Yeah.
Are we missing anything?
I'm trying to. I was gonna have a look, but
I'm gonna have a look at my calendar.
Video game 2019.
Mech Warrior 5, I guess. It's not really a big release. No, yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3, I guess.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. Detroit Become Humans coming out.
Of course, on PC.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. The biggest release. The immediate game of the year. Play. Well done.
Yep. No, that seems like it's the last big one. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, have you played much of this at all? Where are we at?
I've played 5 or 6 hours, I think. I'm on the, I guess.
So, like 20% through.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I've just got to Kashyyyk.
Right.
But I've done Dathomir and whatever the fuck, Watto or whatever the fuck the other place was called, and I went back and did the starting planet over again, because I unlocked the splicer thing that allowed me to get further in and whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I don't know, 20%.
Yep.
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Cool.
So yeah, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, developed by Respawn Entertainment, who have worked on Titanfall, Titanfall 2, and I guess most recently would be Apex Legends.
Yeah.
This is like a surprise announcement. This E3, I think. They kind of just announced it. Yeah. And it is an action adventure game set in the Star Wars universe.
They gave us the name this E3. They said we knew they were working on a
last E3.
Star Wars game
we
for
got
ages.
a logo.
We didn't get any fucking details. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's set after the events of Episode 3, after Order 66 happens. And it is, an action adventure game sort of inspired by Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and then in sort of its exploration, as well as like the Metroidvania style games. And then on the other end, its combat is inspired by From Software games, so Dark Souls and Bloodborne in particular. The way the game works is you are killing enemies, I guess, and as you kill them, you earn experience. Once you level up an entire bar, you get a skill point. But if you do end up dying or falling to an enemy, much like a From Software game, you lose all of your experience, and you have to go back to that position, or go back to where that enemy was that you fought and died to. And if you are able to land a successful hit onto them, you get all your experience back. So I guess they're trying to borrow like the Souls mechanic, but more or less turn it into like it's a lot easier than a Souls game, I guess, because all you're doing in this case is just you're just kind of hitting something, as opposed to going up and picking up your dropped souls. So I don't know, it could be easier, it could be harder, depending on the way you want to look at it. But yeah, that's mainly it's how it's designed. It's not
I think I thought, like, in my opinion, it's harder, like, because I think if it were that way in Dark Souls, you would be forced to re-engage with enemies you maybe wouldn't want to.
Sure.
Right? Like, as opposed to simply grabbing your souls and sprinting the fuck away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense, I think it's a little bit harder. Although I guess the really tough enemies in Dark Souls generally have fog gate blocking you from running away anyway. So
yeah. So yeah, that's its general gist, like an Uncharted mashed with Dark Souls, or a Metroidvania game mashed with Dark Souls, set in the Star Wars universe. You play as I guess not even a Jedi, like a Padawan who, after Order 66, is gone into hiding and is just living their life until they're sort of forced into trying to, I guess, I don't know how much I can give away, but something happens and they end up on this journey of going to try and find this lost item which the Empire is looking for, which will cause a lot of problem for the Jedi. And so you, as someone with a Force sensitive, is able to go out and then try and stop them from doing this. And so I don't really like the story. I think it's very bland. It doesn't really do much for me. The characters you come across, just like, you end up with this crew of characters, and to me they just don't, like, they're just not interesting at all. They try and do the Star Wars thing of like, oh, remember this character? They sort of throw it out every once in a while. You'll come across one or two, not even notable like big mainstream Star Wars characters. Like the dude from Rogue One shows up, and you're like, oh, okay, right. Fair enough. Cool. Like Saw shows up at one point, which was not
Jar Jar
a spoiler because it was in the gameplay trailers they showed. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about Jar Jar because that would be another spoiler.
Too heavy.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
too much.
Yeah,
but they lean into like, oh, remember this character from the Star Warses, and then that's kind of, they only do that like once or twice, and then that's about it. The rest of it is fairly like new in terms of the canon or the lore they're trying to build, and it's just not I didn't find it interesting at all. What they're trying to tell in terms of that story. I guess that's the problem of being like, how do we tell this story that takes place in between these two main stories, or two main really well-known like movies, without like making a huge impact on it? And I guess Rogue One did that really interesting by filling in those gaps, but it felt impactful, I guess. Whereas this film just feels like, this game just feels like, oh, okay. Like, you don't see the connection between what the story they're trying to tell and the overall story. Like, at no point are they? Do you feel like that what they've done had any effect on those films? Like they tried to make it as if it did, but you don't feel as if it did at all.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't get into the story at all.
Do you think that's because you didn't like the game?
No, I mean, even if I didn't like the game, I still could have at least got something out of the story.
Yeah. But I'm like, I wonder if you would have felt its impact more if you'd enjoyed the game, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Like if, I don't know.
But I just like the weird places they go at the end of that with like fucking. There's some stuff that happens later on that you're just like, I don't even know, like, where are they pulling all this bullshit from? It's just like weird stuff that you're like, okay, it just goes really out there in terms of, or maybe it doesn't go out there. I just don't know enough about Star Wars. Like, I don't read all the comics and whatnot. But when you've got fucking people that are throwing around like green orbs at you of like magic, and you're like, what is happening here?
Like, video gaming.
Like, all right, we've got now not only do we have space wizards, we've got space witches and shit like that. And you just, I don't know. It was just weird. Like, it just goes into some strange places that I just couldn't get into at all. And I don't think the ending really pays off at all. There's some cool set pieces and whatnot, but otherwise, like the overall like arc of the story, I'm just like, I get what you're trying to do here, but it doesn't feel like it fits with anything. It just seems like a really self-contained story that they try and make seem really impactful that isn't. So, yeah. And then on top of that, I like the Metroidvania style type exploration, like going out and getting.
I think I just worked out what happens. Sorry, but I think I just worked it out.
Yeah,
based on what you said.
You couldn't have.
No, I think I did. What happens is you go to Dagobah and you murder Jar Jar Binks, and then Yoda is like, no, wait, but if you do that, then he won't be able to show up in the original trilogy. Oh, this must be the canon reason why Jar Jar doesn't show up in the original trilogy. That sounds like it's what happens.
Spot on.
Yeah. I nailed it. I could have written it, to be honest. But if I'd written it,
would
have had way more fucking montages. I'll tell you what. It would be fucking mostly montages.
Like slow montages of Jar Jar dying.
Hammering shit.
Angles.
It would be Jar Jar fixing up your ship and then Jar Jar dying in many different angles,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, Metroidvania. I didn't like that. Before we move on to the construct of the game, I didn't like that it has unskippable cutscenes. And I know I'm not supposed to. Don't skip the cutscenes. Doesn't even have skippable fucking dialogue, right? It's 2019, motherfuckers.
Yep.
I want to be able to skip through. I read faster than you talk, right? And I do not need to. I get it, right? Like, yeah, okay, you spend a lot on voice acting or whatever, right? But if I find, say, for example, the weird, what is he, Cat Dude? Is he literally just a shorter version of John Candy's character from fucking Spaceballs? Is that what he is?
The guy with the four arms. You're.
Yeah, the pilot of your ship, right?
Yeah.
I don't like when he talks, so can't I just fucking read it and skip through it? Fuck damn it.
You can just run away from him in the game. Like, if you've accidentally pressed the button to talk to them, you can just walk away.
That is good. That is fantastic. But, like, the ones where they're talking in cutscenes, I can't walk away from. I'm stuck. I just have to fucking sit through.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
Well, the good thing about those are when they do happen during either fight scenes or before fight scenes, once that has played out, if you do happen to die during that fight scene, then it's not like it doesn't happen all the time. So the fight will either just kick off, or if it was like a mid-fight cutscene, you just skip that entirely. Like, it'll just start the next phase of the fight.
Right, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That would be infuriating otherwise.
Yep.
But yeah. I just didn't. I don't know. I haven't found the storytelling to be that interesting so far.
Yeah.
It seems pretty generic, I guess. Anyway, I'm not wild about the Metroidvania stuff either. To be honest, I don't like. The first boss you really get to fight in the game, apart from the fight you're supposed to lose, which I absolutely was not fucking losing, and that annoyed me as it was. It's on the train, which is basically just the Uncharted train sequence, but in space.
Yeah.
And then you fight that chick, right? She telegraphed all the moves a lot, and so it was very easy to work out what the fuck was going on, and I didn't have any problems with her. And then suddenly I was cheesed into losing a bunch of health, and the next cutscene played out, and I did not like that at all. That's not how that works in a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
So that annoyed the fuck out of me. But the first boss, apart from her, is a giant frog. And I killed him, and it sort of gave me a really good idea of how the fucking game was supposed to go. In that he was kind of cheap as well. He did a lot of stuff that I felt like he shouldn't do. Like I don't know. He grabbed me with his tongue, even though I'd clearly dodged it, and that's when I realized that the animation for the tongue grab had begun, and so the game had decided because the animation had begun, I had been caught by the. So it didn't it tied that move or the success and failure of the move on the start of the animation as opposed to the actual.
If it hit you or
I don't
not.
know. Yeah, successful failure, the real successful failure, the hitbox successful failure of it, which is not good. Anyway, didn't like that. But when I finally killed the fucking frog, there was a fucking box I couldn't open. There was a fucking chest I couldn't open, and that is not good design. You can't make someone go through a fucking boss fight and then have a fucking unopenable chest, right? Like, where's the reward for the fucking fight then?
Yeah, experience.
But, I get a bunch of experience. Who gives a fuck? And it gets worse because opening boxes is completely fucking pointless anyway. Yeah. Like, it's all cosmetic shit. How the fuck are they going to do that? How the fuck do they make why can't I just power up my lightsaber? Like, because all lightsabers are equal or some shit. Like, oh my god! But it just means that later on in the game, when I come back to I went and did an entire planet, and then went back to the starting planet, and all the animals on the fucking planet still took. They respawn, but they also took as much damage as the first time. It's not like I was somehow more powerful. I've technically leveled up a bunch, but I don't become I have a real problem with the dude with a fucking laser sword not fucking punting little bugs in one hit as it is. What the fuck are they made of that they're not fucking ripped up by a fucking laser sword in one hit? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's idiotic. The game should not be based on the premise of the fucking combat for this game should not be Dark Souls to the point where everything has a fucking giant fucking health bar and hurts you a bunch. It should be like it should be Bushido Blade. Like, Star Wars is space samurais. Like, literally George Lucas ripping off fucking Kurosawa and all this samurai shit. So, it's literally samurai shit. So, Star Wars game should be space samurais.
Yeah.
I should be, fucking walking up and just fucking, whoom, one hit, right? And the only time I should have more than one hit is against people with staffs that somehow block lasers or other fucking Jedi, right? God damn it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be fucking getting punted by fucking frogs. It's idiotic. I'm a fucking Jedi. Yeah. Anyway, so that doesn't make sense. It just, yeah, the animation thing is a huge issue, which you've dug real deep into. I assume you're going to put some footage up of the game.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a review for it. I'm just chucking on my YouTube channel.
Right, yeah.
Which no one will ever see.
It's true. Yeah, like, yeah, it absolutely does the same thing that The Witcher 3 did, which is it has pretenses of the precise combat of a Dark Souls game, and the punishment of failing to be precise enough with your combat of a Dark Souls game, but it also has flashy animations like a
spinning swirl.
Yeah, like a Batman game, exactly the same fucking thing. And so you wind up with a bunch of situations where the animation either doesn't marry up with what you intended to do, or the animation is like results in a situation that you didn't intend, and so you are punished for actions that, like, for mistakes you didn't make. And that is some unacceptable shit in a Souls game. If you're going to be punished like a Souls game, you should be the master of your own destiny, and that is not the case in Fallen Order. It's far worse than Witcher 3 was, in my opinion. Witcher 3 was bad for it, but it just generally meant that you didn't do any combos, right?
Yeah. They ended up patching that and changing the combat system to was it realism or something like that? They put in like 2 different modes.
Yeah. They did change it to some extent. It still wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better.
Yeah.
But generally, all you did was you'd only ever swing once, and you'd make sure you were like guarded elsewhere. That's not the case. Like, Jedi has you, like, generally the problem with The Witcher was you were being locked into animations because of combos you'd started, and then you were unable to cancel. Like, there was no cancel, and you'd eat a bunch of shit because you wouldn't be able to, like, the animation you'd started against one person would lock you into the animation with them, and you'd be taking damage from someone else, which, yeah, like, if you can't cancel, is kind of a shitty way to fucking eat a bunch of shit, especially on the normal, like, the default difficulty where you eat a bunch of shit all the time. Star Wars has you being locked into animations from enemies. Enemies lock you into animations, or enemies have animations that decide your fate. Like we said with the frog, and that decision is made at the start of the animation, and is independent of your fucking hitbox. So you wind up in situations where you are eating shit without, like, that the old fucking "you were already dead, you just didn't know it yet" type shit. Like, you were fucked. You were fucked. The moment this animation started playing, you were fucked, and you have no idea until it's finished, and the outcome has shown itself to you. And all of this takes place in the space of seconds, but it's unbelievably frustrating.
Yeah. So just to add to that, that was something that I noticed on my end, but the other way around, on the offensive side. So using your lightsaber to attack people. I was messaging you guys being like, is it broken? Is there something wrong here? Or, like, what's happening? So what I was noticing was I would be in fights, and the character would swing their laser sword, and it'd go through, like, the enemy, but not take. They either wouldn't take any damage, or they wouldn't take any like, of their stamina bar off. So enemies have a stamina bar, and if they do a successful block, it drains their stamina bar. And once that that bar runs out, they're kind of staggered, and that's when you can start doing damage to them. That's if they don't block it. So it's very similar to the way that Sekiro works in terms of its battle system. And so I was noticing that I would hit people, or what looked like I was making contact with somebody, and they wouldn't take any damage, or they wouldn't take any stamina drain. And I started noticing this a lot, and I thought, I was like, something's broken. Like, something is not right here. And so I started recording video footage of this happening. And I think the first one I sent you guys is like, it felt like in that fight, I thought it happened about 3 or 4 times, but when I went back and watched it, it seemed like it was only twice. I just missed a bunch of swings. Like, he is slow. He is terrible. Sometimes you're just like, why are you such a slow fucking Jedi? It's you're supposed to be this powerful samurai, like sci-fi samurai spaceman, and you're swinging and just like not even trying to like lunge forward or anything. So I go back and watch that footage. I'm like, he definitely at least there's 1 or 2 hits there where it felt like there you can pause and see the fucking sword through the creature and it taking just no damage. And then that was just something that I was seeing all the time. Like, I'd be in the middle of a fight and I'd be like, I swear I hit that thing, like, and it just not have any damage. And when you're constantly seeing that, and then that enemy damaging you, it becomes frustrating at that point, because you're just being punished at that point for the game's mistakes and not your own, which is not the way that a Souls-like game plays.
No, it's not the way any game should really play, but it's particularly egregious in a Souls-like game where the punishment is so heavy.
Yeah, you know? I was playing on a harder difficulty. The default difficulty is it Jedi Knight, I think, and each difficulty sort of changes your parry window, how much damage you take against enemies, and then also how much damage you deal to enemies. I think that's the 3 options, and it kind of gives you like a slider. And it tells you like the differences between each difficulty option. This is something I put on Twitter. I feel like the majority of reviewers probably played this on the default difficulty, which if you look into the flavor text, it says this difficulty is meant for people that are new to melee action games.
Yeah.
And so when you go to new game and you fire it up, that is the first option that you're given. And at that stage, I feel like that's not the way that game is meant to be played. If you're telling me it's supposed to be a Dark Souls, a game that's inspired by a From Software game, a Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, anything like that, and you're playing it as a game where you're new to melee games, then no, you should be playing it on a high difficulty. So I chucked it up to the next one.
Jedi Master, that's what I put on as well.
And it's not even challenging at that point.
No.
At that stage.
It's not challenging, it's just frustrating.
Well, yeah. But like, also, it's not challenging.
When you say
it's hard.
No, it's. But it that's what I'm saying. It's not challenging, but it is frustrating.
Sure, yeah. I think the biggest problem is that Dark Souls does such a good job of having. Here's a fucking skeleton, right? Here's a skeleton man, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna fight the skeleton, and the skeleton kicks the shit out of you. But eventually, you learn its movesets, and it has tells, and you know its animations that it's gonna throw you. And then you beat that skeleton, and then it throws 2 skeletons at you. And now all of a sudden you've got to juggle 2 skeletons. That's not really what happens here. Like, it throws you a stormtrooper, and it is very hard to read what that stormtrooper is going to do in terms of its animation set, or like unless it's shooting like its laser rifle at you, in which case it's a glowing red thing that comes out and you can tell that that's happening. But if it's trying to hit you with a fucking electric baton or something like that, it's kind of hard to understand what it's going to do, like what thing it's going to throw at you, like where you should be. It's not hard to tell when you should be blocking, but you just don't really know what attack it's going to throw at you. And so being able to block that is quite easy, but later on it starts throwing different types of enemies at you, and you just don't know what moveset they're going to do. Like, it's doing some sort of attack, but what attack is it? It's really hard to tell. Like, there's no wind up in terms of what it's about to throw at you, and that's where the frustration comes in, because it's no longer about learning movesets as opposed to just blocking damage at that point and figuring out like what you're going to do. And so the game wasn't really, it was an extremely action game the way that I played it, because you just had to micromanage. All right, well, I'll just deal with these guys in the back line first, and then I'll make my way to the tougher enemies that I can parry or block through, and eventually just kill them. I don't know how many times I died playing it, but it wasn't a lot at all until I got to the very end of the game.
Yeah. If you died to fall damage, my deaths would have been in the fucking millions.
Can you die from fall damage?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But I mean, if like it was Dark Souls style, where the ones anytime you dropped off a fucking cliff, I would be dead a billion times over. I probably would have quit the game in the first hour or so. I don't understand why there are so many fucking slidey bits.
Oh, I've got a video for this one.
But sliding and then jumping for a vine and then somehow not catching the vine and plummeting you to your death, is
terrible design. Yeah,
awful.
Yeah.
It's just like it's bad world design as well. I don't understand the fascination with it. Like, what is the draw of a billion fucking sliding elements? They're not challenging in and of themselves. The only challenge is like managing your own expectations when you fail to catch a vine you definitely collided with again. Like there's so many fucking choices in it. Why do you have to press a button to fucking climb? Right? Like why don't you just fucking climb? What's the deal with having to hammer L2 to fucking catch on or something? Like, is that supposed to increase my fucking agency? I don't think so. Like, I directed myself to slam it into the fucking wall in the first place. I think I can climb it, right? Like,
there's a couple of times where later on you sort of drop from top to below. Like there'll be a section where you can't grab onto something, but other than that, that's the only time I've ever seen something like that. For the most part, you just hit the trigger to climb the first time, and then you just you can jump around from pillar to pillar or whatever, but you don't have to press that trigger from then on. It's just the one time you got to do it. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's like, why are you pressing this thing all the time? It just does weird decisions.
There's so many weird decisions. It's just odd decisions all the way down. Like the chests you can't open until he gets an upgrade. Like why bother? Well, what does that matter?
The cosmetic stuff just doesn't make any sense, especially for like a lightsaber. You can't see this lightsaber at all. For the most part,
he holds it two-handed, and you're fucking 15 feet back. Like, what the fuck are you going to see of this lightsaber apart from the fucking color? Oh, it's got a wooden hilt. Oh, cool. Can you see that? No, because it's in your your hands are on it. Like, cool. Well,
and when it's not in your hands, it's on your hilt. But you've got a poncho on, so you can't see it anyway.
Yeah,
it's not like the Batman camera, where the Batman camera is really close up behind you, or even like Gears of War. And you can see the detail on this stuff really close now, like scratches and whatnot. But it's quite far back, and so you spend all this time customizing this lightsaber. It's cool that you can do it, but it's meaningless. Like you can't see it, other than the
doesn't
color.
Make it better.
It's the only thing you can see.
It's literally cosmetic.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't go too much detail into the actual lightsaber stuff, because I think some of the choices, some of the options they give you for the lightsaber haven't been made public.
Okay.
There's stuff that happens with the lightsabers that I don't think they've revealed.
Okay.
But there's a lot of, like, even that choice in particular, like, hey, here's a different lightsaber thing. I didn't use it. I just used the normal one that you got at the start of the game.
I found it by accident.
Yeah.
Like, entirely by accident. Like, I walked up, I thought I was just going to customize my lightsaber, and suddenly he's like, oh, I can do this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, how did I do this?
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking connection between like what I'm doing there, which should be honestly, a pretty monumental moment.
Sure.
There should be a fucking connection between that and like how I got to that place. But apparently, I guess I picked up something at some point, and
No, that's just an upgrade you find on a table. Like a lot of the upgrades are like that.
so it was just the table.
It's just on the table. Yeah, you could miss it if you wanted.
So all I had, I guess, was the flavor text telling me then,
Yeah.
like upgrade at this table.
There's no marker. There's no objective marker. There's no
It just
side
looked
marker.
it just looked like a customization table, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll have a look at my custom. So I absolutely probably missed others then by not choosing to not customize my. So oh my god,
No, there's not a lot of those, but just them giving the option is cool, but it doesn't, like, there's no gameplay reason to do that other than like giving you a different fighting style.
Yeah,
And I just felt like I don't know, it just wasn't impactful at all. So I just went back to the normal one. It just wasn't my jam. And I think maybe that's got to do with the way, again, the combat. It doesn't feel like there's any weight to the fighting.
Yeah.
Like when you hit something, it just feels like I want it to feel like I've just hit someone with a fucking lightsaber and they've blocked it. But instead, it's like nothing. Like I'm using a paper sword. And so that impact, there's no weight behind what the character is doing and then sort of what is happening on screen. And a lot of that as well could be just down to the fact that the way the laser sword, the lightsaber, interacts with the world. You don't see like scuff marks on walls unless you're actually swinging. You remember it might have been, Jedi Outcast or one of the Jedi games, but you'd have this thing in your hand and you could walk around and fucking paint like with it using walls because it'd leave marks on the walls. That's non-existent here. You've actually got to swing at something for it to happen. There's no dismemberment, which is, I think, horseshit because we know it dismembers. I mean, it's in the films. They're obviously Disney's trying to step away from that, but I think that's a mistake.
I didn't really mind it, but it's sort of exacerbated, I think, because the lightsaber feels like a fucking toy lightsaber.
Yeah,
you know, that's the real issue I have with it. Like, yeah, because the like even when you chop animals in half and stuff, even when you do that, it doesn't feel that fucking good because
it takes like 2 or 3
it took
hits.
like 16 fucking hits to get to the point where you're able to do it, and
yeah. So, and I think that's the problem is that they couldn't decide on a like a direction to go. They were like, we want to make a Dark Souls. This isn't my words. This is like the developers saying, "Oh, we were heavily inspired by Dark Souls and those types of games, so we put that type of mechanic in there." But if you're going to do that, then go the whole way. Don't like make it an arcadey game, but borrow the fighting style of it. And I think if they went the whole way, then you could definitely do that. You have these enemies that are extremely punishing, and where you've got to actually time your attacks, like exactly like Sekiro. We had a better Star Wars game this year that was just set in fucking Japan. When you were, this ninja, you were like, it done such a better job. You had a sword in that. You went up against enemies that you felt the weight of every time you would be in a fight, and you'd have these epic battles with these, samurais.
Is there a Sekiro mod that fucking gives him a lightsaber?
Maybe you could check that out. But
oh yeah, there is.
I'm just gonna play this from now with Star Wars music on in the background.
100%. That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah. And so I felt like if they went that little extra bit of making the game harder by, having that impact be more meaningful, then they could have got there. And then you could have had those like one-hit creatures or whatever. Like you could still have those enemies do a ton of damage to you, like 2 hit you and you're dead. But even on the difficulty I was playing on, it's not hard. Like the stuff that hits you, it's just not challenging at all. And So I can't imagine what it's like on the default stuff. But like, yeah, it's just I don't find it to be engaging at all. The combat there. I got into the very last boss fight of the game, and to me, again, just wasn't finding it hard. I was just finding it frustrating because I was trying. I run into that same problem where I was hitting this enemy, nothing was happening at certain times. Like I'd go through one fight, and there was maybe 3 or 4 times in that fight where I could see on the screen being like, that should have hit. They should have taken damage then, or they should have been, staggered or something, but just nothing happened. And so I got to the point where, and just being like not being able to telegraph what the enemy was about to, like the attack was about to do, because they would get stuck on terrain or something like that. It was just like really weird animation sets. And so I just got to the end of that, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to turn the difficulty down to the normal difficulty, and I'll just blast through this last boss because it's dumb. And I did it in like the first go. It took me like 1 heal, just because you do so much more damage and take less damage. So yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of reviewers played that game on default difficulty, which I think is a problem.
At a fundamental level, I think all games should be reviewed on default difficulty.
Sure.
Because that is the intended, or that is what the developer is signposting as their intended experience.
But that should have been brought up as an issue, and it wasn't.
What do you mean? A lot of reviews said it was too easy.
But they also said the combat was good.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, okay. So
I saw stuff saying the combat was challenging. Like they were saying they've nailed that Dark Souls combat. I'm like, it is not.
But that's, yeah, so that is a, like, byproduct of the fact that they weren't being punished enough to look into the degree of the animations. This is what I was saying. Like, I'm sure it's like the animation lock situation is bad, or the hitbox, however it is specifically fucking up.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's
bad in every game. Probably a combination. But yeah, however it's specifically fucking up is bad in any game, but it's always more noticeable in a Dark Souls style game, a Souls game, because of how much you're punished. So if you're not being punished, you're not going to notice it, and you're going to assume that you took the damage, like, correctly.
Yeah.
You know? So there might have been a bit of a ruse, some perfidy on behalf of Respawn to make the default setting the second easiest, to avoid that scrutiny.
Yeah.
The only reason I played on Jedi Master, apart from reading the text, the color text, and deciding that I obviously didn't want to play on default, the only reason I played on Jedi Master is because I wasn't reviewing it. Otherwise, I would have played on default, because I always play a game for review on the default difficulty setting.
Yeah, that's what I do as well.
Yeah, so I can definitely see, like, after I finish a game, I always bump it up to see what the change in difficulty is. So I think I probably would have noticed, because it is hyper noticeable. Holy fuck. Oh my god, it is so noticeable how goofy some of that fucking animation lock shit is. We probably would have noticed if it was easy anyway, mostly because we're arrogant dickholes who refuse to accept when we've made a mistake unless we're certain. So we probably, examine how we fucked up. There is a nice way to say that, in that we examine our own mistakes and work out how we went wrong. But at the same time, it does lead to a certain degree of arrogance. It's only arrogant when you're, not the best, right? Otherwise, arrogance and confidence are the same thing. It's just success that divides them. And we are obviously fantastic video games. So anyway, I don't know. I can see how they wound up in that problem.
Yeah.
Should critics be investigating games in that sense. It's difficult to say. Are they writing a 5,000 word magnum opus where they dive into every single thing Hideo Kojima did wrong with Death Stranding? No, generally they aren't. So, yeah. Are they writing a 1,000-word piece, getting desperately underpaid for it, and trying to knock it out on a deadline? Yes. Whose fault is that? Obviously, website publishers' fault. But yeah, nobody's going to read the reviews anyway, so just chuck a score on it, right? Oh, I made myself feel bad now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the level design stuff, it does the same like shortcut systems as like a Dark Souls game where you go through an area, eventually you find a door that leads you back to somewhere else, and you end up with these like elaborate mazes.
Yeah.
As you start getting more powers, that eventually, you'll be able to get into certain areas that you couldn't before. But then you end up with issues where there's just a lot of downtime where you're running from one side of the map to the other, like 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And there aren't enemies, or they're facing the wrong way. Like there's no fast travel, and I don't know if it needs fast travel. I think it could help being able to fast travel to your... They're not
lessons on the
bonfires.
tedium. Yeah,
They're
your meditation spots. Yeah.
Meditation spots. And and so it becomes like you looking at this map and being like, oh, well, there's a thing down here I need to explore, but then I've got to run this entire way, and the combat's not engaging, so that's going to be boring. I'm not really earning any experience, so that's not really fun. So like, why am I going down there? Like, all I'm going to get is a chest that's got a cosmetic item for my lightsaber.
Yep.
Or a new poncho, or a skin for my for BD, who is your little robot friend that heals you and helps you.
Yep.
Get from place to place.
I do like BD1.
Yeah. He's good. Except for when you press the heal button and he doesn't heal you. That's another...
That is pretty annoying.
That's annoying.
That's definitely... That's what makes me think it's an animation lock and not a hitbox thing, because it seems like he won't throw it if you're already animation locked.
Yeah. I've definitely at least got 1 or 2 videos of me trying to get a heal off, and just... You can hear the dude say... stim me or whatever, and then nothing happens, and I'm not getting hit by anything, or like I'll be in a fight but nothing ejects. I'm just like, all right, fair enough.
So
I don't know what is happening. But yeah, so I think it could do with some more fast travel stuff. The puzzles are whatever. They're not too hard. Like the ones that are in there again generally are for the cosmetics. Like there's an extra cosmetic or 2 in there, and I think we've said what we can about that stuff. It's just not interesting. You look at you look at a game like Uncharted 4, right? 2016's Uncharted 4, and the way that they do, you're probably not even up to this bit yet, but Uncharted 4 has like, they'll have a set piece moment or a chase scene. In that particular case, there is a I don't know if you remember this, but there's a point where your brother kind of picks you up on a motorbike, and it's just after like you've gone through a marketplace, and eventually this truck or this car starts chasing you, this armored vehicle, and the way it is framed is you on this motorbike shooting your machine gun or whatever it is you've got at this armored truck while it chases you extremely closely, and you're going through all these streets, and it is just like bashing through walls and all this stuff, and it looks outstanding. And that's like an epic chase scene, this awesome set piece moment. There's a moment in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order where you're being chased by a some sort of interceptor spaceship, and you're going down one of those ramps that you talked about, like those slidey ramps, and it's doing is like, I don't know if you've done this bit yet, but it's like flying from, you sort of see it on the screen shooting at you. It's not really doing any damage. It's just kind of shooting at things in front of you and completely missing. And you're literally sliding down this ramp, and you don't have to press any buttons. You can get to once, like, from the start of this to the end and not really have any buttons pressed. There's moments where there's like gaps in between the bits you're supposed to like jump to next, but your character will just land, like, get to the next section without you jumping, and there'll be like these bouncy like pods that you jump onto, and that'll bounce you to the next one, and then there's a third one, and like you just don't even have to press the buttons at that point. You can just let the controller down and off you go. And there's supposed to be this set piece moment that's, you know, supposed to be an important part, and it looks like crap. Like, it's not interesting at all. It's just you sliding down another ramp. You have to press some buttons. Like, you compare that to a 2016's Uncharted 4, like the difference between the way they do a chase sequence is like staggering.
Yeah.
When they're trying, like, when that is the game they're trying to replicate.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely feels like, you know, the Amy Hennig game was sort of thrown to them, and they were tasked with getting it done as best they can.
Maybe.
Because the Amy Hennig game, that's what I sort of expected out of that initial train sequence. I'm like, okay, so they're getting this in the mood for Star Wars Uncharted, and then after that you just sort of get whatever. But at the end of the day, it feels like they don't know how to do Uncharted. They don't know how to do Dark Souls. They definitely know how to do wall running. Someone in the Discord, I think, posted that it's the same animation.
Yeah.
Titanfall. Oof. Yeah. That's not good. That's not a good look. Johnny Bravo said it's the same animation as the Titanfall pilots. Not a good look, but yeah, they definitely nailed that at least. Yeah, it's not their wheelhouse. Nothing they do in this game appears to be inside of their wheelhouse, and it really shows. I think there's severe lack of polish and a severe lack of fundamental understanding on what is supposed to go into this kind of game.
It's a very janky, like it seemed like it needed a couple more months of polish, just for like those animation glitches, people like floating in the air. I had one point where I was like free falling endlessly. Like I fell off a cliff at a certain part of the game, and it's supposed to reset me somewhere, but it just kept resetting me in the middle of the air, and so I was just constantly falling. So that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it just needs some more polish in there, and I don't think it's particularly a pretty game. There's definitely moments where you're like, yeah, that looks good, but for the most part, it's pretty generic. There's no like moments where you're like, oh yeah, this looks pretty good. Like I'm running it on max settings and getting like 130 frames per second. It's not an intensive game at all. So yeah, it's just like, I think it's a very mediocre game. At the end of the day, I don't think it. I mean, I saw conversations of people saying that this should have been nominated for Game of the Year for the Game Awards, and I think those people
are nuts.
Are wrong, completely wrong. I think this is like a solid 5. In a couple of months when they iron out some of these bugs. Because even then, I don't think that it does anything particularly new.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a choice between a Metroidvania game like this, I would recommend people go check out like Darksiders or something like that. Like, that really nails that like Legend of Zelda field, which has, doesn't have that Dark Souls combat, but it's got the action. It's got action combat. I think it's more interesting than whatever's going on here. Anyway, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's very mediocre. I don't think it's a bad game, but I think it's just very average for some of the reviews it's been getting, like 9s and 10s. I think it's like an 80 something, 84 on Metacritic at the moment. I think that is way too high.
Yeah, that's It's extremely high. How's it competing against Death Stranding though? That's all that matters. I had to mute Death Stranding on Twitter. So it gets me going. I get too G'd up about it. Oh, it's only an 81 now on Metacritic.
Death Stranding.
No, Jedi.
Oh, Jedi Fallen Order.
Maybe it's higher on PC or something. Come on. You got to be higher somewhere. 83 on PC and 82. Death Stranding is a 83, so technically this is losing to Jedi Fallen Order is losing to Death Stranding, and that is a travesty. It should not be.
Yeah, OpenCritic has a 23 on Jedi, and on Death Stranding is an 84.
23. Right. Yeah. Okay. Gutted. Well gutted.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I was pretty disappointed. So.
Yep.
Let's just. Are you gonna keep playing? Or are you done with it? You feel like?
Every time I go to play it again, I just don't, which is not a good thing. There are games that I could like other games I could be playing. I could be playing Disco Elysium and stuff, you know. So I don't know why I would continue with Star Wars when I'm not enjoying myself. I may go back and drop it, like after a couple of patches, go back and maybe drop it to the lowest difficulty and just see what the story's about. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not in.
Yeah,
not enjoying it.
Someone on Twitter, a PR person, said they're playing through it on story mode just to try and get through it. I think that's the best way to play through this game at the moment. Because I honestly, if you're someone that likes Dark Souls, there's no point playing it on that difficulty because you're not going to get much else out of it.
No, absolutely not.
So if you want to play it for the story, play it on story mode. There's literally a story mode. And you can probably just mince people there. Maybe that'll make it feel like a proper lightsaber at that stage because you just one hit everything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was hoping.
Someone could mod it and just be like, make you take more damage. Make them take more damage. I don't know. Right?
Turn it into the fucking just lightsaber game it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order out now on all platforms. Maybe wait.
It's a good game if you've got EA Origin All Access.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but yeah, otherwise.
Yeah, disappointing, at least. After all good things I've heard. I think it's Nate's fault, particularly. Nate's thought he loved it.
But, again, it's another one of those situations where for previews, they definitely had them on default difficulty setting, and you never would have seen any of this shit. You know, you would have gotten the obvious Dark Souls vibes in a preview, and then, it would have felt like a fucking badass Jedi, and that's about it. Yeah? Yeah.
Yep. All right. That's the games. Should we jump into some news? All right, we got some news here. There's a lot of news to go through. Some big ones as well.
Bunch of news.
Let's kick off with this first one. We got Battle Royale appears to be coming to Modern Warfare. This is Call of Duty 2019. Some leaked information from people like doing some data mining in some of the games that are out there. Yeah, this map they've released is basically what I was talking about when I played Spec Ops a couple of, whenever
remember in Scrubs when Elliot has her "I told you so" dance. I told you so. I told you so. Yeah, that's Luke right now.
Yeah,
Luke is very much Elliot singing the "I told you so" dance. We called this so fucking far, so long ago. They didn't want to talk about it, but the way they wouldn't talk about it made it very obvious that it was coming.
Yeah.
The only real question left is whether or not it is free to play.
Yeah.
And I hope it is.
Yeah, and so when I checked out Spec Ops, to me that felt like a mode that was thrown in to, I guess, bridge the gap between, shit, we need an extra mode in here. Like, we've got a Battle Royale coming, but how do we? What do we do here? Because when I played that Spec Ops mode, it was extremely rough, and I think everybody that wrote about it in their review said it was very rough, terrible AI. But then, like, me looking at that, I was like, there's some stuff in here that just doesn't fit, like, what this mode is. Like, you look at the map that it'd throw up the tiny little square green, and you're like, there's too much detail on this map for them to put that in there. Or, like, just, like, why do I respawn in a fucking, a plane that flies me across the map, and then I can free fall down, and there's little indicators on the side of the screen tells me my speed and like how far away I am from the ground. Like, why is this stuff in here? It just doesn't make any sense for this mode. And to me, it felt like they chopped this together because Battle Royale wasn't ready yet, and seems to be right on that one. So the map they've put together, someone drew up like, hey, here are the sections in the Spec Ops mode where this map actually takes place, and so you've got this larger map in there now, with a bunch of different areas that they've detailed. One of the most interesting things to come out of this is that the player count at the moment looks like it's set to 200 people, which is huge. That is enormous.
Yeah,
I am very interested in that.
I don't know if you saw the other stuff that came out today, but Battle Nonsense dropped his netcode analysis on it, and Ground War is already running at 20 hertz. I have no idea how the fuck 200 people is going to work in this game if they can only get 20 hertz out of a fucking 64 player game server. It is going to fucking struggle. Private matches are running at 12 hertz. And I think you should probably expect that out of the Battle Royale. Also, he noted that that they're still using peer-to-peer servers as a fallback, which is just, it's pretty interesting. Because I remember when I said that Infinite Warfare was using peer-to-peer servers as a fallback, Activision, not just fucking, the community was outraged and said I was lying about the game just to shit on it more. But Activision actually got into the fight on that one and said, no, it is using dedicated servers. And I'm like, well, how am I getting host migration on dedicated servers? What host is it migrating to? And then I showed them the fucking video, and then they fell back because clearly whatever fuckwit in Activision's marketing team who was ripping into me, or who'd already been ripping into me over my review of Infinite Warfare, contacted someone at the Call of Duty team and worked out that, oh yeah, Joab was right, and maybe I shouldn't have, gotten into him about that one. But anyway, just another fucking little tidbit of information of the last time Joab reviewed a fucking Call of Duty game. Fuck that shit. Yeah, I'm still salty about it. Yeah. Clearly, it never fucking impacted my opinion of Call of Duty games because I love Black Ops 4. So stick that in your fucking. It's called integrity, cunts. Yep. Anyway, sorry.
Let's keep rolling on here. We've got a bunch of other information that we've got.
Yep.
I guess the big one is respawn tokens for down
respawn
players.
Token.
Yep. You'll be able to pick them off of dead players, and you'll be able to respawn them. I think it said once. Yes, it says after one use, respawn tokens are disabled for the player, and you'll be able to find ambulance around the place, I guess, and that'll bring them back. Don't know how that'll work, but that's the thing that'll happen. The other thing is there will be a fucking, I don't know, an area on the map. I'm not even sure what it is, but basically like a gladiator pit where you 1v1 other players that are dead, and if you win that match, you get put back into the game.
Yeah.
What is
I love
that?
it. I love it to death. That is revolutionary. I hope to death Fortnite and Apex have heard this and are like, oh fuck. We gotta fucking make this happen. We gotta get in on this shit. Just lock off fucking one section of each map, somewhere in the blue or something, and it's the 1v1 arena or something. I don't fucking know how it works, but yeah, it's genius, and I love it. I want to see it.
So interesting.
Yeah.
There's also, I mean, a lot of this stuff could be not something that's final. It's obviously been data mined, so it may not end up showing in there, but missions is one thing. This stuff sounds really interesting. Basically, you'll be able to find like tablets within the map, and it'll give your squad an active mission. Some of those are like time runs. Some of them are assassinations, so you have to go find a specific player and kill them. Scavenger hunts, so going collecting certain things. Domination, which would be capture points. We saw that in Battlefield Firestorm, which was really interesting because, I mean, you get rewarded for completing certain tasks, and other people in the map know that you're there, and it encourages like gunfights, and it's really cool. So I really like that idea a lot.
It's a really good idea. Yeah, there's a lot. This is all data mined though. Yeah. Just to be clear, it's all data mined, so there's a chance that some or a lot of this never makes it in.
Yeah.
To the inevitable battle royale mode.
It might not even be 200 players. That could be the max they've tested, and it could be they might start off with 100.
Yeah, but at the moment, it's saying all the right shit. You know?
Yeah, it's saying some good stuff. There's some other stuff in here, like fault and recovery devices. So I guess those giant balloons, we don't know what they're going to be. Maybe they'll have like items attached to them or something like that. But otherwise, there'll be ways for you to place markers. So be able to, like a ping system, I guess. And what else is there? Jump Master. So similar to Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Which
like all this makes it's just a lot of common sense stuff, right?
Yeah, really cool stuff. And then you've got loot, same as I guess the last game, whites, blues, greens, purples, golds. A lot of different attachments you can get. It seems like there's going to be maybe kill streaks in there, which that could be interesting. See how that kind of works.
I did not see this, but I am not about it.
Yeah.
We already know my position on kill streaks. Fuck that shit.
In a battle royale.
I don't care. I don't want to see it at all. But could you imagine a fucking helicopter gunship in a fucking battle royale?
I mean, it might not be that. It could be. There's
what, a UAV?
Here. I don't know what that is.
All this shit. Every single kill streak would be fucking abominable in a battle royale.
What if it gives you a fresh vest?
That is probably the only one that I would be okay with.
Ammo and armor and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some stuff in here it's similar to the past games, defibs and that sort of stuff. Sorry, from the past game, Black Ops 4, and there's armor in there again. This time, helmets and ballistic shields or ballistic vests. I don't think it had. Did it have armor in the last game? Sorry, did it have helmets in the last game?
Yeah. No, I don't
I thought it just had
remember.
vests. Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
No,
yeah, the vest, the level of your armor dictated whether or not you got a helmet, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe. And then you've got your perk loadouts, so similar to the last game. To Black Ops, there's gonna be a bunch of perk stuff. Kill streaks activated using lethal and tactical buttons. UAV satellite trucks must be charged before scanning an area. Once they are used, they remain on cooldown for some time before being back online. So not really sure how those will work.
No idea.
But
I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it sounds like that's all we know at the moment. But I'm liking some of this stuff. Sounds interesting. They just need to make it free to play. Otherwise, the game's dead.
Otherwise, it's never going to work. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, especially 200 players.
Yeah. You'll never get a 200 player. You'll get one 200 player game first day, and then that's it. At least we will in Australia. I don't know about how you'll go in North America, but
yeah. But yeah, I like some of this stuff. This pit This pit sounds interesting with the 1v1 matches to get people back in the game. And missions, I like the sound of missions, like going after other players, trying to track them down. That sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we got to see how it happens. We've talked about it before. I'm a massive fan of Blackout in Black Ops 4. I thought it was really good, and just like if that game was still live, I'd probably still be playing that. But it is not, so that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely keen to see when this one drops. Sounds awesome. All right. And then we've got, what else? Borderlands 3, the first DLC announced, which is Moxie's heist of the Handsome Jackpot. So this will be Handsome Jack's casino you'll be going to. Did you happen to watch the trailer at all?
I did not.
Okay. Looks like more Borderlands. It's releasing December 19th on all platforms, so I'll definitely jump in for that one. Nice little Christmas break.
Yep.
Sounds
good.
Yeah. And then next up is XO19, which kicked off last week. This was the Xbox event in London. Big focus on sort of their Project Cloud stuff they're working on, xCloud. And then also just doing some announcements. There was a couple of things that were announced there, which we can run through. I guess we'll kick off with Everwild, which is Rare's new game they're working on. Rare obviously made a Sea of Thieves as most recent would have been their game. Given off a lot of like Breath of the Wild vibes in terms of the art style on that one.
Did I look at a different fucking game? Wasn't this the furry game?
Yeah, the furry game.
Yeah. I see, really into furry shit, to be honest.
Yeah, don't know what it is, but at least it looks interesting. So see what happens with that one. What else we got? Obsidian announced their next game. It's called Grounded, which is everything is very big and you're very small, sort of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, and there's that one. And
like I love anytime they play with perspective and stuff.
Yeah,
I love the idea of playing with perspective and stuff. I think it's a really cool, I don't know, like use of the video game medium as a format. You know?
Yep. It'll be some sort of like survival RPG. Hopefully you'll be able to play with other players, because that'd sound interesting. It seemed like you could build stuff, and maybe like they showed screenshots of other players, so I'm guessing it will be a multiplayer game. But off the top of my head, I don't know for sure, because that's how we roll here. Let's talk about new Sea of Thieves.
That's what we're about. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Rare, which I want to try and get in this really soon. So there's a new Tall Tale.
We're gonna play it tomorrow, fucker.
Yeah. Okay, we're playing tomorrow. New Tall Tale, which will be out, called the Seabound Soul. And on top of that, they're adding in like fire bombs into the game, so you'll be able to make other people's ships catch on fire.
I can't wait. So you'll have to be fucking throwing them fucking buckets of water and stuff. I hope vomit is flammable, because it's generally the only way to spew is from drinking too much, right?
Yeah.
So I hope it's flammable. Oh god, that'd be amazing. That would be the fucking best. Run on with a firebomb, and then throw a bucket of spew on, and it catches everywhere. That'd be fucking best.
Yeah.
Anyway, my Sea of Thieves started updating this morning.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't have it on my PC because I built a new PC, and that hard drive that it was originally on is in another computer. So I downloaded it like last week, just in preparation, because I knew we were going to jump in real soon. Just we're waiting for Nate, but he's too slow, so I think we're just going to jump in tomorrow.
Yep. I'm waiting for Nate.
No, it's too slow. Next up, they showed off some more Bleeding Edge from Ninja Theory, some gameplay on that one. It's like the brawler game.
Yeah.
And then after that, they showed a new game called Tell Me Why, which is Don't Nods. I think that's how you pronounce it. Don't Nods?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next title. They're the studio that made the Life is Strange games.
And it sure looks like more Life is Strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one focuses on two twins, and one of the protagonists is transgendered, and I guess you'll be looking at their lives and sort of figuring out what the story is behind that. Which I don't really. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get into Life is Strange 2. I really liked the first one. Again, it's one of those like adventure games where you just kind of get into the story and try and unsolve like what's going on. So yeah. I guess we'll get a better idea of what this is closer to launch, but it sounds like it's going to be coming out sometime next year. And if it's anything to go by their last couple of games, I think it should be pretty good because their track record has been pretty solid so far for people that like that stuff. They then went on to some Project xCloud stuff, talked about how it's coming to PC, Windows PC next year. I'm in that Project xCloud thing that I can't talk about it though. I'm pretty sure I'm NDA'd on that one.
Right.
But I've been in that for a little while, so I don't think I can comment on that further. Planet Coaster's heading to consoles, which is cool.
Sure.
And then they talked about a bunch of games that are coming to the Xbox Game Pass stuff, which is massive. Over 50 titles. We can, I guess, rattle off a couple of games that are on here, like Age of Empires, which we talked about today, is already out. Rage 2 is now on there. The Talos Principle, which we talked about before on this show. It's like a puzzle-inspired first-person game.
If you've never played it and you've got Xbox Game Pass, and you should have Xbox Game Pass, by the way, it's awesome. It's well worth playing. Yeah.
Remnant from the Ashes is sort of like a Dark Souls, I feel like, game.
Yeah, that's only on fucking console. It's not on PC, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh.
Yeah. And then they talked about some games that are coming out towards the end of this year and also sometime in 2020, which is a massive list. We've got I'll just go through a couple here. Darksiders 3, a lot of the Final Fantasy games, ranging from like Final Fantasy 7 up until 15. There's like 10 or 12 different games in there that will be coming out. Massive list. Life is Strange 2, which is episode 4 and 5, so I'm not sure if the other episodes are already in there, but it's kind of weird to put only 2 episodes, so you'd think there'd be others in there. Tekken 7, The Escapist 2 is in there. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is probably a big one that'll be showing up at some stage in Game Pass. But yeah, that's a good list. That's kind of just like third-party games at this stage. So that's aside from the ones that Xbox has been doing, which has been their first-party stuff pretty much on the day. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Xbox Game Pass at this stage is awesome to have. Like, they're doing really good things with that service, and it's kind of hard to not want to have that, because there's some really awesome stuff in there.
There's yeah, it's rad. It's definitely worth it, and you can get it pretty cheap. Like the $1 offer still works.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get Ultimate for $1 on top of, and that adds so buy 3 years of fucking Xbox Live for about 240 Australian, and then you add $1 on top of that, and you get 3 years of fucking Ultimate Game Pass.
Right.
Totally worth it. Yeah. Anyway,
they showed off Microsoft Flight Simulator.
That game looks fucking sick.
Yeah, that's I don't have a flight simulator set up. I've got my flight stick here, and there's something wrong with it.
Right.
It's extremely sticky. I think the plastic is something's wrong with the plastic. I've been looking up on how to fix it.
Right.
People are put baby powder on it. All right. Fair enough.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, looks interesting for people that sort of like that stuff. The next one they showed off was the Minecraft Earth stuff. I don't know if you've had a chance to see this, but apparently it's working in Australia.
Oh yeah, I've got it. I haven't played it, but I've got it.
You've got it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I might play it over the weekend. I'm doing a thing where I'm walking around a bunch, so I might crack it out for that.
Carrying boxes.
Report back next week. I'm not carrying any boxes, sadly. Yeah, got it.
Age of Empires 4 gameplay debut. How exciting!
This looks fucking amazing. How good does this look? Did someone pointed out? I'm not sure where, but someone pointed out that I think maybe Frisco, but this big castle, but all these spearmen standing out in front of the castle instead of inside the castle.
On the walls.
But that's a classic RTS thing.
Mm.
It's gold. It's amazing. It looks gorgeous. I'm very excited. I can't wait. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition gives me a lot of hope that they know what they're doing and how to fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another game they showed off is Kart Racer Drift, which is a Korean karting game. It was called Crazy Racing Kart Rider. It looks interesting. It's sort of been updated from a game that was sort of out like 15 years ago. If you're the type of person that likes Mario Kart style games, then yeah, it's probably something.
Why aren't you playing the Garfield Furious Karting or whatever the fuck it is that came out this week?
Yeah.
You know? The last big release of the year.
Right.
Garfield Kart Racing.
And then they wrap things up with Wasteland 3. Which looks pretty cool.
Looks pretty rad.
Yeah.
Wasteland 2 was awesome. And it looks like they're going even bigger with Wasteland 3. I think it was a 4-player squad in 2. Now it's going to be like a 6-player.
6 players, yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited. I'm there. Bring it on.
Absolutely. And that was it. XO19. There was a lot of stuff going on there. It feels like we'll probably start hearing about Project Scarlet next year. This was at least early next year. Maybe March.
I'm surprised we didn't hear about it.
March, April.
But yeah. February? I'm going February.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's pretty soon. And then next up, I don't have it here, but Path of Exile 2 was announced as well. Did you get a chance to see any of this?
I did not.
Right. This is good. I'm glad I brought this up. Sounds like a big engine updates. It looks like, man, if you've not seen that game, it is basically like people that were... The original Path of Exile was... We would like a new Diablo game, and it looks like a Diablo game. At least Path of Exile does. And 2 looks very much like the same sort of stuff. They've done massive upgrades with things like the engine, big lighting changes in there. They've overhauled like the rune system that's in there again, sort of streamlined a lot of that sort of stuff. I watched like a 15-minute gameplay demo. I'm sure there was other ones out there, but this is a particular one that I saw. And yeah, man, it looks awesome. I couldn't get into Path of Exile just because it just seemed like I came along maybe way too late for that game.
It's hyper complex, right? Like there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Feels like you need a fucking
spreadsheet,
university course to learn how to fucking play it or some shit.
Yeah. But Path of Exile 2 looks awesome. I'll definitely check that out at some stage. Hopefully, like they're talking about, and you'll love this because...
Isn't it the Overwatch sequel style?
Yeah, where like a bunch of the original campaigns are in the game. So I think it's the Overwatch style. Like this is the thing people are doing now. This is the style.
This is the sequels now. Wasteland 3 is just a fucking couple extra missions for Wasteland 2. I'm afraid you can play it with 6 players instead. It's pretty bananas.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just something I saw being posted the other day, and the last bit we got here is it's some news. The new Half-Life game coming out.
Oh
Valve
yeah!
Did the thing where they just like fuck it, new Half-Life game coming out. They didn't drop it, which would have been the. That's the thing I thought they would have done.
It got leaked. It got leaked, and so they decided to get out ahead of it and say we're excited that we'll be able to show you blah blah blah. Yeah,
Right.
they got leaked. It wasn't their choice. I think they were going to try for the surprise, but someone let it out into the wild early.
Yeah, but I always thought that Valve would have been the type of company that would have been like, "Hey, new Half-Life game, it's out now," and just been like, "Bam."
Yep.
But that
That's what
doesn't
I'm.
sound
I'm
like
still
it's
hoping that happens, honestly,
happening.
because I didn't want to wait 6 fucking months for it to come out or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's going to be happening by the sound of things. So they're doing a reveal tomorrow morning, my time. It's called Half-Life Alyx, and it sounds like it's going to be from a lot of the information that's leaked, it'll be a prequel to Half-Life 2. We'll
Yep.
be playing as Alyx. And I guess the thing that got most people upset is it's a VR game.
Yep. Oh yeah, people are popping off. I'm feeling pretty smug because I already got a VR setup, but I can very much understand why you would not be happy if you'd spent the last, what is it, like 40 years waiting for another Half-Life game, and they announce it and it's VR only.
You're the 1 point, was it 1.32?
3%?
0.03%. That's the amount of users on Steam that have a VR headset.
Gold. Yeah, I can very much understand why people would be not wild about that, but I am pretty wild about it. So
Yeah.
bring it on. Yeah, that's why I want it to be released sooner rather than later, unless I find out I haven't tested my VR setup in a while. If I find out that it doesn't work, in that case, I hope it's later rather than sooner, so I can fucking fix it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The date that's been going around is March next year. That was the
right. Yeah,
sounding like.
that's dumb. That's dumb. But whatever. Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get some, hands-on time. Maybe our boy Eric Johnson
from Valve.
from Valve, the pussy fiend, the ass magnet, the titty king, will help us out. Hooks up, Eric. We've been your greatest champions. You slayer of poon. Nobody talks you up quite like we do, and I think you should sort us out. Anyway, that's pretty.
But man, we called this one as well. With the Valve's next big game was going to be or next Half-Life was going to be a VR game.
That's true. We did call that. We are always correct. That's why people listen to the Gap, so they can find out what's happening later today. That's what we bring to the table. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
I guess we'll talk about that more next week once we find out exactly what it is. But
Yep.
you talked about how a couple of recently you watched a presentation from them, right?
Yeah, the lecture on how the doors work. So it was a lot about more than just the doors, but yeah, they were talking about the complexity of getting doors to work in VR because there has to be like a push and pull
physical thing,
like a element to it, and yeah, they've puzzled over it for a long time. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to opening some fucking doors. That's the juice. I'm there for it. Yeah. Cool.
What were we thinking? Like gravity hands. That's what's going to be the big
gravity hands.
Yeah, as opposed to then you need a gravity gun. You could just use gravity hands.
Maybe you just actually pick shit up. That's the reason the gravity gun exists, is because they wanted physics manipulation, but they didn't have a in-game way, a ludonarrative mechanism for you to manipulate physics. So they used the gravity gun to give you the agency to do that. But if you can just pick shit up with your hands, then you can just pick shit up with your hands, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got
just pick shit up with your hands.
Yep.
You got hands. You got hands, baby. I got hands.
All right. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm definitely what this game is gonna either really disappoint people or
it's gonna disappoint. They are fucked. They are fucked. Yeah.
And that's the news.
That is the news.
We had down Game Awards stuff, but I think
pointless.
We'll probably go to that some other time.
That's pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless, I tell you. All right. Uh,
Questions.
questions. We got questions. We got Frisco. Frisco writes, "When is the best time to Alyx your game franchise?" Alyx, Alyx, so Half-Life Alyx. When companies decide to depart from a game's numerical naming scheme, these days it is often to denote a spin-off title, a reboot, or in Valve's case, increase sales in your magic goggles in order to temper expectations and to help preserve the reputation of the developers and future serialized titles. But I feel it also puts increased pressure on your next serialized game to be a much bigger iteration leap. Buddy, commas, Frisco. Commas. That is a fucking 60-word fucking sentence. How could you do that to me? That's a good point though. My questions are: what games do you think, if got deserialized, would have been better received, and what sort of voodoo magic would it take for ZeniMax to recover from Fallout 76? All right, first, a game with a numbered sequel that would have been better received if it did not have a numbered sequel. Uncharted's 3 and 4 would have been better received if they did not have numbered sequels, because then they wouldn't have to be following on from 2. They could have abandoned attempting to overcome the monumental achievement that was Uncharted 2, and they could have just been like that other one that I never played, the Treasures one with the 2 chicks.
Oh, yeah, I never played that one either.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah, that one. What else? What else didn't need a sequel?
I mean, we got to the point where Assassin's Creed don't number their games anymore, right?
That's true.
We went from 1, 2, 3.
Well, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4.
They're just like, fuck it.
Did 5 was 5? Was it 5 France?
I don't know.
And then they just sort of
Odyssey
make them now,
and
right?
yeah.
Ragnarok,
I think is the rumored one at the moment.
It's a good choice. I think it's a good decision. Yeah. What else would have gotten away with it? The Division. I think my reaction to the Division wouldn't have. Yeah, the Division wouldn't have been. I mean, just fucking stop Overwatch. How did I miss Overwatch? Don't call Overwatch 2 Overwatch 2.
Overwatch Alyx.
Overwatch Alyx City. And I guess maybe Path of Exile too, but I didn't really look into it all that much. Yeah. What sort of voodoo magic would it take for ZeniMax to recover from Fallout 76? They are going to need. Oh my lord!
They need a cyberpunk.
They are, yeah. They're going to need a cyberpunk. That's exactly what it is. That's the voodoo magic they need. They need to somehow buy CD Projekt Red. Oh no! Like even at this point, unless they bought CD Projekt Red the week before Cyberpunk came out.
Yeah.
If they bought it now, most people would be like, "Oh, well, Cyberpunk's fucked." Right? Like, oh, well, here we go. Cyberpunk's dead to me. I'm moving on. Like, the reaction to that game has been so detrimental to Fallout's, to, like, Bethesda's reputation.
Yeah.
They just keep making it worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, yeah, they've digged that shit up hardcore. There's still some very hardcore Bethesda fans out there. I can't fault them for still loving Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls Online or whatever it is they love. But yeah, for a lot of people, Fallout 76 is now the benchmark of a Bethesda game that they have to overcome. And I think like it was so bad, it's such a low bar that they can very easily overcome it. But they need to come out swinging to do it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It was definitely the right move to delay Doom, though. Holy fuck! Because if you could you imagine that coming out and being underwhelming? That would have been fucked. That would have been fucked. So yeah.
Especially after Wolfenstein, as well.
Yeah. That didn't get them a lot of friends.
No.
I didn't hate Wolfenstein. It just wasn't great.
There was another team working on that one anyway.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with Fallout. Like, I'm definitely keen to get back in there at some stage to see how much has changed. I guess once they roll out a bunch of these new updates that add some better story into it, NPCs and whatnot.
In Fallout 76, fuck that. I'm never installing it again.
Yeah,
Ever, ever, ever. It's never going back on my PC.
I was thinking of because the Path of Exile news came out the other day, and I was like, oh, I should reinstall Diablo, but I've still got it installed because there's a new season that starts next week. I'm very tempted to jump in.
Classic.
Maybe play some Necromancer. Yeah. All right. That was the questions. Was that all?
That was it. Thank you, Frisco.
Nice.
Learn about commas. Yeah.
I don't think we answered these questions though. When was the best time to Alyx your game? We just described a bunch of them.
No, he like clarified his question later on.
Oh.
My questions are: what games do you think, if got deserialized, would have been better received?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You just didn't notice because I was expiring from a lack of oxygen from trying to read out the second sentence in his question.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, great stuff. That is the podcast.
That is the podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, under the Gap or the GA Podcast. You can search for us and we should definitely come up. Please, if you got a moment, rate and review the show on your chosen podcast platform. It helps other people find it, which we appreciate you doing that. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do it the old-fashioned way via email, thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our Discord page, which is thegapodcast.com/Discord, and jump in there and, like Frisco has done, send us some questions. We had some movie reviews go up recently by Johnny Bravo. JB left a movie review for Terminator Dark Fate.
I still haven't watched it.
And he said, I agree with Luke. So there you go.
Well.
Yeah, but we've got a bunch of different channels out there, people playing some games. We'll probably jump into Sea of Thieves by the time people hear this, but maybe during the weekend we'll be in there. Check out some softs. And then you've got our facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast. You can go to our YouTube page, GAPodcast.com/YouTube, if you want to watch videos, or you can go to our website, GAPodcast.com. It's got links to all things we just talked about, including past episodes of this show. If you want to go check out our last week's show, where we talked about like 4 hours worth of podcast content. It was long. It was a lot. It was
long. It was a big one. We go in.
We did go in. Today could
Go
have been a bit
hard in the paint. But we opted to not talk about Death Stranding again.
Yeah, we spent like 67 minutes on the Sonic movie last week. It was
Like high quality stuff.
It was good. It was pretty good.
The people need to know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and you can also go to our Patreon page if you'd like to. Patreon.com/GAPodcast. If you'd like to support this show, helps us pay the bills for the website. Sort of keeps it up and running every once in a while. So thank you to everyone that does that every month. We greatly appreciate your support. And
really,
you got anything you want to talk about that you've written this week or posted on, I don't know, like haiku or something? Have you done anything exciting like that?
No, I haven't posted any haikus. I did. I've got a story up explaining exactly why people are upset about the skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. Because my gut reaction was, so I wrote this on Tuesday. Basically, my gut reaction was that people should stop being, wieners. Skill-based matchmaking isn't that bad. But I looked into it a bit more, and what they're doing is basically a ranked version of skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty.
Right.
Versus the regular Call of Duty. It's just it's got a very narrow field that it's drawing from. And so it's finding people who are instead of within 1,000 points of your skill, it's finding people who are within 5 points of your skill level. And so you wind up. Sorry, go.
I was gonna say it's like Dota.
But it's like but you've got rankings in Dota and stuff. You've got rankings in fucking Rainbow Six. Like if you play ranked, that's what it'll do. But in regular Rainbow Six, in casual Rainbow Six, it'll still grab from that 1,000-point range.
Sure.
Right? There's still skill-based matchmaking in casual games. It's just from a very broad perspective. Whereas in fucking ranked modes, it's very tight. Your reward for playing that mode, though, is your ranking increases, and you get visual data on how well you are doing or how poorly you're doing, which makes up for the fact that you might not be stomping like you normally do. The other problem is that, yeah, at a fundamental level, Modern Warfare is built around the hero player, the individual, but skill-based matchmaking directly rewards you for playing like not as a hero player. It rewards you for sticking to like close with your team and fragging and refragging and doing those kinds of things, because you are rewarded for I believe like win-loss and KD ratio.
Sure.
So you need to make sure that you win your gun battles and you win your matches. Otherwise, you won't see any increase. At the same time, because there's no fucking ranking, it doesn't matter anyway. Like, you don't want to see it increase as it is. Like, it's just a big old clusterfuck. And it's counter to the way Call of Duty Modern Warfare is supposed to be played. So anyway, I just go into that in detail. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Where was that at?
Redbull.com.
Nice.
And you can also on Fandom my top 5 best new IPs of 2019. Check that out.
Do you want to give us a hint? What's number 5?
They're not in any order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
they're not in any order. I would say, oh man, I don't know. Mordhau, I guess.
Mordhau.
Yeah.
I'm already not liking this list.
Fuck you. Controls on it.
Okay, it's good. It's good now. List is good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought.
For me, you can go to Stevivor.com and check out my stuff that I talked about last week, which is The Sims 4 Discover University.
Oh, yeah.
I had a couple of articles go up last week, which I also mentioned back then, but you should still go read them if you'd like to know more about that game. But that's it for me this week. You can find me on twitter.com/Luke Lawrie. Joab is Joby Jojo.
I am.
And it's very exciting stuff. You should go encourage him to talk about Death Stranding on there.
I won't see it because I've muted Death Stranding.
Yeah, but
so
you should unmute it.
You'll have to do it the way everyone seems to do it with Star Wars spoilers, by like somehow dodging all my fucking filters.
Yeah, just GIFs.
Just to post, GIFs and shit. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Anyway.
Okay, and that is it.
Nice.
Thanks everyone for listening this week. We'll be back next week. More Gap. Don't know what
More
we're
Gap.
about, but we'll figure it out.
We'll work it out. Probably Sea of Thieves.
Stick around.
Bye.